Yes, good evening, people. Welcome back to episode 9 of Spurs Unleashed. We are missing Stel, but I am assured that he will be here at some point. Haas is on his travels, having some well-earned rest. So tonight we have got Perchy from In the Dugout. How's the new channel going, buddy?
Yeah, no, channel started well. Yeah, it's going well. We just loads of stuff coming soon, definitely.
Good. And look at these boys down below from Tottenham Away. Iggy, Will, how are we doing, guys? You well? Good New Year?
Yeah, it's good.
Good. Sounds exciting. Sounds like it was exciting. Iggy?
Still recovering from New Year's. So.
He's recovering from the news of Regulon and Spence coming back to the club. That's what he's overwhelmed. He can't even speak at the moment.
Well, listen, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. Big up to absolutely everybody in the chat. If you haven't liked, smash the like button. You know how this works. We should be at good ratios. There's 105 of you already in here. It's growing by the second. Only 28 likes. So smash those likes and let's not have Darwin Núñez and Richarlison type ratios. Let's go for more Harry Kane and Sonny ratios, shall we? Guys, lots and lots happening without anything happening all at the same time, right? Tonight, we're going to be discussing, we've got to discuss Drusin. We'll get into it in a second, but Drusin, we're hearing reports tonight from, depending on if you think this is viable, from Damasio, are saying that Napoli are apparently looking at 2 players in their deal because they haven't got as much money as we have. But they're looking to take Drusin to Napoli. Apparently, he wants Tottenham, so we'll get into that. In other news, guys, that's a different story. Regulon is back with Spurs. Ndombele's on his way back. Tanganga's on his way back. Jed Spence has had his loan terminated by Leeds. He's on his way back. And Dane Scarlett is back to be the number 1 striker if anything happens to Richarlison. We've also got lots of reports about Diego Jota. We've got the FA Cup tomorrow night. We've got Man United away. Mickey van der Ven's coming back, so we're going to get into all of it. Will, I will start with you. Before we get into anything, we've got to talk Drusin, right? It feels like, in the summer where we all constantly said the names Tapsoba and Van der Ven, so much so that it got boring. Drusin, I know we're only 4 days in, is that new name. Confident we're going to get this over the line, Will? No trust that we'll get it over the line? What do you think's going on? Why is it taking so long to get a 30 million euro centre-back over the line?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the window, no matter who we sign, is already 5 out of 10 because we're 4 days in and nothing's happened.
Really? Are you being serious? I can't tell if you're being
100%.
serious.
No, I'm
okay.
100%.
Okay. So talk me through this. What's happening?
Because why are we waiting? This should have been done if this is a player that we wanted and that we obviously need because of the amount of injuries that we've had this season. It should have been done 3 days ago.
Yeah, keep going. I'm just going to fiddle about with some stuff in the background. You keep going.
That's it. Should have been done 3 days ago. We should have had 2 or 3 signings already. It should be already done. We should be done for January right now.
Wow. Okay. All right. So Will's giving it a 5. Iggy, Will's giving it a 5 out of 10. What are you giving it? How do we get this Drusin news to get us to 5 out of 10 already, or is it not just a Drusin? No, it's the way we always work.
No score at the moment, Savva. There's no score. At the end of the day, I agree with in part what Will's saying is that it's the state of intent. You need a centre back. Rather than let this drag on, allow other potential buyers to look into it and say, do you know what? If it's 30 million what they want, we're going to give them a couple of players and a bit of cash and we'll get the deal done. For the sake of the 5 million, which is essentially what we're haggling about, we've allowed a team like Napoli, who are not flying this season, but we've allowed it. Drusin wants to come to England. He wants to come to the Premier League. Of course, he would be more attracted from the Tottenham, joining Tottenham. Of course, he would be. But to have this deal now potentially compromised with Napoli coming in and taking them off our hands. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it's just already, Savva, the signs. And I'm not, we're only on the 4th of January, but the early signs, the feeling that I'm getting is of the same old, same old. I know,
Right.
like this, mate, it's old age. I don't know, man. But 4 days in, and we should have been like, 1st of January, we should have announced him straight away. Get it done. And which is what Ange Postecoglou wanted, right? But now, and then you hear what he's had to say in a press conference. It's like, defenders, he's now having to play it down. He can't say, yeah, I've always said I want to send it back. He can no longer say that. He has to kind of just, we'll see what happens. But anyway, talking of defenders, we have got 2 in, Spence and Reguilon.
Mate, we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't ruin the surprise for everyone about new signings.
There's no excuses. There's no excuses. We spent £55 million on Brennan Johnson, for crying out loud.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. Perchy, a big up still. Welcome to the show. I know you've probably just got back from the airport, maybe. Is that right? Yeah, good.
Yeah. So I'm just really dizzy. I had the most horrendous landing ever. I shat myself to the max.
Lovely.
Good. We want to see some evidence of that. I'll come to you in a minute, Stel. Perchy, look, is half the problem here. Now, I want to play devil's advocate. It is only the 4th of January. But as someone said to me on my show earlier, it might only be the 4th of January, Savva, but this is a continuation from the summer where we needed a centre-back. So it isn't like, we suddenly need a centre-back. We've needed one for ages. Is half the problem here with the fans that are being impatient or annoyed or whatever you want to call it, is half the problem the fact that Ange has been saying for about a month now that, hey, I want to go early. I want the players in. I want to work with them, and we've got to get the best out of them quickly. Is that why people are annoyed, or is it just because it's Daniel Levy in a transfer window?
I think it's a combination. I think the key bit here is a combination of things. The fact that Ange said that, the fact that a week before Christmas we had all the talk about Drusin the terms are being agreed with for the player and all this lot. And the fact is, we all went, do you know what? We're doing something different here. Get a bid down, get it done. First week of the window, sign it. Listen, he could still sign in the first week of the window. We've still got a few days left. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Do I think this Napoli stuff is reliable? Possibly. There is probably more theory that this is probably Genoa stirring it up a bit to go and say, let's get Spurs to pay the money that we want. More likely, that's normally what clubs do. They'll drum up a little bit of interest from another club to push the buying club to try and get it done quickly, which is what my theory is, which could fundamentally spark us getting it done relatively quickly. And it has to be done quickly. I think the key word here is it has to. We're dying for a centre half. I think someone mentioned about rating the window. It's a 0 out of 10. We haven't signed anyone. How can we rate a window? We've not signed anyone yet. Look, do we need to get this guy in? Yes, 100% dying for a centre half. It has to happen before the Man United game, and that was my cut-off. I felt Burnley would have been too quick, too early for it to happen. For me,
can I ask why? Why would Burnley have been too early? Surely, like if Will was saying, look, we knew what we needed, bish bash bosh. We apparently were in conversations with them on the 29th. And the problem for me, Perchy, is this is where let's have a real conversation, right? None of this fluffy stuff I do in the mornings. Let's have a real conversation, right? If we're talking about Spurs winning titles, if we're talking about Spurs wanting to really go on a journey where we win trophies, titles, constantly challenge Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, we're going after a bloke who's 30 million euros. As of this morning, that's 25.9 million pounds. Right,
that's what we're talking about. 5 freaking million.
Well, we're talking about 2.8 million pounds, right? 2.8 million pounds.
Savva, it's a disgrace.
It should have been done on day one, surely.
It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. What's happening? That's what it is.
I think you've taken completely what I said completely out of context. Do I think it should have been done on day one? 100%. My point is now it's too late for him to play against Burnley. Was my point. Now he has to be in beginning of next week. At the absolute latest, So he's training with the players and he starts against Man United, is my point. My point is, it should have been done. It should have been sorted before the transfer window opened. And then on day one, he's there with the shirt and he's ready to play.
What we've done because of that 2.8 million, we've I don't know. Look, it could be an agreement between Genoa and Napoli, who I know friends. Those two clubs are quite affiliated, so it could be a ploy to try and have
Daniel Levy don't have any of them, Iggy.
But what I'm trying to say is that they could be using their contacts to try and bump the deal up. That's absolutely fine. But why? But this is why you need to get it done early to stop all of this happening. And what do you think is going to happen for 2.8 million? We potentially could lose the deal. It might be something in it. They might say, do you know what? These guys are wasting time. Do you guys want him? Give us a couple of players that we want. Because there's two players that could be involved.
I'm not having this.
But on that, you know what actually will make it worse down the line? The longer it goes on, the price tag goes up and up and up. Because they'll go, the longer we're waiting, we've got to sign a replacement. So if you're going to take another week, well, it's an extra 5 million on top of that now because we've got to go and pay over the odds to buy a replacement. So this is the problem, right? It only works. This sort of haggling stuff only works to a certain extent. The problem is you're right. We're haggling over what, 3 million quid here. Like, let's get this job done.
Allegedly, we have to say allegedly.
Allegedly, of course.
Allegedly.
Right, let me.
But the problem, I was just about to say, but the problem is here is it becomes detrimental. And the reason why I say that is the longer we wait for this, the longer and longer we wait for this, we could lose to Man United because Eric Dyer or Emerson Royale goes and makes a catastrophic mistake and we go and lose to Man United. I'm not suggesting that.
Do you know what, Perchy? Given what Postecoglou said about Dyer the other day in the press conference, the tone that he used, Dyer doesn't look like he's going to feature.
I know. But my point is let's just say hypothetically that it doesn't. I just picked those two because they're absolute awful centre halves. They're terrible players. My point is that we can't afford to keep playing these crap defenders because there's only so many Bournemouth results as there are Brighton results. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can't keep getting away with it. You can't keep getting away with it
because you could end up one against Brighton could happen again.
Well, look, let me bring in Stel because I feel like Stel's brought his bad landing into whatever he's about to say. He's not having any of it. What are you not having, Stel? Tell us what you are not having.
Any single Spurs fan who accepts what's happening right now, you are the problem. I don't care. You say what you want. You are the problem. I've had it out with all of you on social media today, and all you can do is attack me as a person and not the argument. And that sums you lot up. The reality is this. What was the point of bringing in Scott Munn 2 months ago, Lange 2 months ago, Paratici working with them? What's the point of building a team 2 months ago when we knew we had injury problems, when we knew there were suspension issues, when we knew Pape and Bissouma were going away in the African Nations Cup? You knew the situation 2 months in advance. Virgil van Dijk signed for Liverpool beginning of January. That's because they're a big club and they operate like a big club. I don't want to hear, but the other clubs haven't signed players. The other clubs win trophies, right? We don't win anything. We have to behave differently. Stop copying them when it suits us. Copy them when they're successful because we don't do that bit. The reality is this. Ange just said, if I don't get players in early in January, then they can't impact the January games because they're not playing those games. He has said that. The board, we were told, have built this amazing new team. They spent 1 year doing in-depth analysis and research and critiquing their internal workings from a footballing perspective to put together this new team that they've built, right? This is after a year's worth of internal affairs, sussing out where it's going wrong. And you can't attack the January window, bang, ready to go. It's unacceptable. And let me tell you something. Burnley, they beat Fulham. They drew with Brighton. Fulham battered Arsenal. Brighton battered us. Don't look at Burnley and think, oh, yeah, we'll beat them. We said about Norwich under Mourinho. They knocked us out the FA Cup, then they got relegated. We said this about Colchester United under Poch. They knocked us out. We said this about teams like Genk and Ghent. We've been here before, Spurs fans. Don't look at Burnley and think we've got enough to beat them. That's when we lose. That's when it goes to penalties and we lose. Bring in the players now and try and at least win an FA Cup, for crying out loud. I've seen this play out too many times. If they really want this guy, it's simple. Before 1st of Jan, this deal is done. If it's not done, move on. Next one. I thought Perchy lines up 4 or 5 players that all have a similar criteria.
It's a state. It goes back still to the state of intent. You're sending out a clear message to not just to the whole Spurs world to say this ain't going to be the same old, same old. This is going to be us. We've got the deal done. Look, Dybala. Someone mentioned Dybala. He's got a 13 million release clause if they sell him outside of the Serie A. That's not applied to teams in Serie A, but outside of Serie A, 13 million is the release clause. Go and get him, man. If you really want Dybala, now is the time. Now, I'm not saying to go and get him because I know he's got injuries, he's had injury issues and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that once you've identified the players you want for the positions that you want to fill in, stop messing about, man. Go and get your man.
Key word is ambition. Where is his football club's ambition? That's the different, right?
I think Ange has it. I think the team are showing as much as they could have done up until this point. I think the team have done brilliantly to follow Ange and get the results that they've had, because to get the amount of points that we've had in that first half of the season, given all the problems that we've had enduring it, and that's not to say that no other teams have had those problems, but we're talking about Spurs here. Given the problems that Spurs have had with the points that in the new system, and you know, I think they've done incredibly well. But now it's like, you know, when you like squeezing it to the end. Now it's like you need a new injection of blood coming in, and also regalvanize the whole place. The state of intent, like I mentioned earlier. Also, players going into Hotspur Way, seen a couple of players coming in straight away. You're like, bloody hell, like, you know what I mean? It's like,
but do you know what? You're right. Do you know what? You're spot on with that exact point, because I sit back and go, do you know what? Someone like a Romero and someone like a Van der Ven will go, this kid's just come in here. He ain't taking my place. And you start seeing players work. Because, for example, let's be fair with it. Romero and Van der Ven, at the moment, currently, if they're both fit, they're both playing. If they're both fit, they're both playing. When a kid like this lad, Drusin, comes in, you go, crap, I better work harder, because if he gets into the team and works hard, I'm out of the team. And it's, I can't remember which manager said it. He said, the reason why you start keep refreshing it, it's to keep your better players at that level. And the problem is we've done this so long, and I think, Savva, you've mentioned it several times before, where we have a good 11. We haven't really got a good squad. And I think that's the key bit. We need to start getting out of this nonsense of, we've got a good 11. Let's build this squad. This lad needs to come in as quick as we can. We've got problems at the centre half anyway. And
it's not just that. It also allows the manager to manage the minutes that all the players play in. If you've got Romero and you've got Van der Ven, and you're having to play him for 10, 15 games straight because you've got no adequate cover, the headache with this guy coming in, if he comes in, you've got a situation where we can manage them better to avoid injuries further down the line. And also, like I said, it galvanizes players, it ups your squad quality slowly, but surely it will up your squad quality if you're doing that. But for me, more importantly, it allows fans, including us, or even the most negative fans, to say, do you know what? Okay, this is good. This is good. We're slowly making those. Otherwise, what's all the fuss about Ange? What's all the fuss that we're doing this year if we then don't match it?
Let me ask a different way then. Do you think, Will, let me come to you. Do you think that maybe the club is seeing it as it's not as important to get over the line because, all right, we've got the cup game with Burnley tomorrow night, but after that, we've only got 2 league games, right, in January. I'm not saying this. I'm just asking, is that potentially why we've not gone bang? Like, if we had 6 league games throughout this season, would we have seen quicker, or is this just Spurs? Is this just what we do?
Well, I mean, that is Spurs, and that is just what we do. But for me, the main point of it, and why I said that no matter who we sign now, it's only a 5 out of 10, right? Is because backing the manager means that you give the manager what he wants, and the manager wanted people in at the beginning of the window, and the beginning of the window's come and gone. Right? A week into the transfer window isn't the beginning of the window. Right? Might be the first quarter if you're doing it by weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not the first month. right? Like if you're thinking about a year as a year the company does business. Look, I don't get it. I do. When I go and buy anything, whether it be fragrance or a computer or a camera, I'm doing research for months, right? And then when the time comes for me to buy it, I just buy it. I don't mess about trying to figure out at the time when the cash has come in and the time that it needs to be bought. It's the same thing from a company. If I need inventory, I don't wait till I'm out of inventory before I go buy new inventory. I project it out. Okay, how much do I have that gets me to this point? And then I buy it when I need it.
It's half the problem. I mean, it is half the problem that we have needed one for so long. Is that where the frustration with this, like, let me rephrase that. If this was a centre mid, right? We've got a lot of centre mids, but so if we were signing a centre mid, would it be like, well, okay, this is nice to have versus we need a centre back, right? I think the whole world knows that Tottenham Hotspur have two good centre backs and they're both injury prone and will miss a lot of games between them throughout the season. Is that where half the problem is, Will? That everyone knew we needed one.
But this guy was the B choice as well, right? Todibo was the one that they wanted, right?
Good point.
And then because that deal broke down, now they went with the backup. So if it's the backup should be easy, right?
Yeah.
Like, and the reason
why did it break down?
It didn't. I don't know. I don't even know why the Todibo one broke down. To be honest with you.
I mean, listen. Call me skeptical,
Why the
guys.
deals break down? The same.
Call me skeptical. We were talking to Todibo for a week, right? And then it turned out Drusin's 30 million euros, but 50 plus for Todibo. Am I being cynical, or is that where we're
maybe
at?
Drusin is not the? Maybe Drusin is a smokescreen then, and we're gonna get someone like Tosin or whoever else is in the background. Maybe he's just.
I'm at the stage.
I don't know, man. Who knows?
Maybe these people are just incompetent and they can't get things done.
If we get Tosin or Kelly, I'm done. Right, I'm done.
What if we get?
No.
What if we got Drusin and a Tosin?
No, just get Drusin.
No?
Don't get Tosin. No.
I think
why would you not want Tosin? You need 4 centre backs and he's homegrown. Doesn't that make sense?
No, because he's not. I'd rather get Anderson, who's far better. Far better.
Who? Joachim Anderson?
Yeah.
We're not getting. If we can't get Drusin over the line, there is no way we're getting Joachim Anderson over the line.
Well, no, but my point is, if it's not quality, it's pointless because we will not win trophies without quality. Quality wins you silverware. A manager can do so much. A manager can, like Poch, he got us to the brink, right? You need quality at some point. You need layers on top of it. We're up against Man City and Liverpool, for crying out loud. We're up against the Bayern Munichs and the PSGs and the Real Madrids of this world for European trophies. We're up against top draw opposition, right? So if we're not going to bring in some players you can get away with, but there's certain things you just need quality. Like for me, Tosin doesn't.
But I mean, hang on. So let me ask though. But if you've got Romero, you've got Van der Ven, you've got Drusin, then you've got Tosin Adebayo. That, by the way, don't forget, we need homegrown footballers. Like we are crying out for homegrown. If he fills the quota as the full centre half, he's a seasoned Premier League defender. Let's not. He's not a mug. I'm not saying he's as good as a Drusin or a Todibo, but he'll fill in, do the job. He's good in the air. He's decent on the ball. And he's got 6 months left on his contract, plus the homegrown element. Wouldn't him and Drusin, wouldn't that be a nice 4 if we're looking at Drusin, Romero, Van der Ven, and Tosin?
I'd rather give Donington a chance or Phillips. We've signed them. They're young players at the club. Let them play. They meet the quota.
But wouldn't that just be exactly what we're asking to improve, right? Improving the squad, because most teams in retrospect will have 4 centre halves, then have 2 academy centre halves, right? So you have 6 collectively. So you've got, unless then there's serious injury, then the likes of Dorrington and Phillips will go in. Like, for example, Liverpool are having to put Kwanzaa in at the moment because a load of their centre halves are injured. And
they just keep Ben Davies for now because he's actually done okay. I don't think he's the answer, but he's done okay and he meets the quota.
But also 1 game a week. I don't know if we need them all now.
No, not necessarily now.
I definitely think for sure we need Drusin or whoever else comes in as a number 3 or 3 centre back.
Yeah,
I
rotation.
don't think we need a 4th. I think next summer we will hopefully going back to
Go and
competition.
sign Braithwaite. He meets the quota.
European
But the thing is still, let's be honest, right? As much as I agree with you on the let's go and sign Braithwaite, right? Or let's go and sign Joachim Andersen. Let me ask you guys. If Tottenham go to Crystal Palace right now, by the way, Joachim Andersen's just sprayed a wonderful pass on the game I'm watching. If Spurs went to Crystal Palace right now and said, right, what's his name? Is it Parrish at Crystal Palace?
Parrish,
right.
Yeah.
Steve Parrish. How much do you want for Joachim Andersen? Because let's be brutally honest, Joachim Andersen, he's coming if we go and bid for him, right? He's coming to Tottenham Hotspur. How much are Palace asking for Andersen, and how much are Everton asking for Braithwaite? What do we all reckon?
Anywhere between 70 and 80 million pound right now. Genuinely. These clubs don't need the money anymore. It's different it's different back in the day when like all the big boys used to snatch all the lower teams. Everyone's got money. This is the same Everton, by the way. This is the same Everton that rejected £100 million for Richarlison from Real Madrid all that time ago. Like they're not, unless Everton get relegated in the summer, then you get a Braithwaite.
But Perchy, I agree. Look, I agree. We're not going to go and spend mega money. All right, okay. I'll take that on board. In that case, develop the young players that are on the bench every single week. They're on the bench. If you put them on the bench, that means that either you're forced to put them because you've got no options because everyone else is injured, or there's something about them that says they can come on, right? The reason we haven't played them so far is because he's going for experience, because he's trying to get results. He's trying to just ride out this tough patch. That's my thinking on it. But if they're on that bench and they're not going out on loan and they're not being sold, develop them, right? I thought Daniel Levy said part of this process of Ange is we want to see the academy players flourish. This is yet again more rhetoric from the chairman that isn't being delivered. So rather than going and buying or bringing in or paying high salary compared to Phillips or Dorrington, develop one of the youngsters. You've got 3 established centre backs. Yeah, Romero, Van der Ven, and Drusin, assuming we sign him. The 4th one, make it an academy player, or Phillips, who we signed.
But still, I'll be devil's advocate for this one moment here. For this moment, if we did that, everyone we go in. There you go, Daniel Levy. Instead of signing a centre half that we need, he just wants us to play kids. I'm not saying that's my theory. I'm just saying that's what the preference would be if it's the other way around, right?
I think fans want to see the kids play, though, Perchy. I think fans want to see.
What was the point of bringing Phillips in? What was the point?
No, I get all that. I get all that. I agree. I actually agree with the sentiment, by the way. But I'm being like a bit the devil's advocate in it. Is that if the narrative then would be that, oh, there you go, Daniel Levy. And I'm not sticking up for Daniel Levy here, so don't think that. But I'm just saying that would then everyone be like, well, there we go. We're doing the cheap option by paying a £2 million kid.
It's a good point.
Over signing a centre off.
Not if we sign Drusin or Topsida, whatever his name is. Not if we sign them, because then we would have spent 50 million on Romero, 45 million on Van der Ven, another 30 odd or 40 odd, depending who we sign on the other centre back. We would have spent roughly 140 odd million on centre backs. To then say, right, the 4th one's going to be an academy player. I don't think fans would get upset with that, personally speaking.
Is that enough? I'll ask the question. So for what Iggy was saying just now, I think is quite right. I'm not saying we need both of them in this window, right? And by the way, I was just using Tosin Adebayo because he is linked to Spurs a lot, and he's in London, and he's English, and 6 months left in his contract. When we go in, just think, there were fans at the end of last season saying they wanted European football this year, right? This squad is tired playing once a week, right? Next year, when we get into Europe, when we will get Europe, I fail to believe we will not get European football from where we are right now. Next year, you can't go in with 3 senior centre halves across 4 competitions. For me, I just don't think you can. I truly don't believe it.
Forget next year. Think about this year. We've got injuries. We've just lost Son, who's gone to the Asians. We've just lost players going to the Africa. Bissouma, Sa. We've lost them both for potentially, hopefully, good luck to them. But if they go all the way, in both their competitions, we won't see him till February. All right, we've got 2 games after Burnley. We've got 2, but nonetheless, like we will lose players. We won't have them available for us, and
Iggy,
that's for me.
I agree, but I'm backing up your point. You said not to get both of them in this window.
Listen, the reason why you bring them in early is because Ange wants to work with them. Obviously, the longer the manager has to work with them, implement his ideas to them, they understand it, and they can start firing away when the fixtures really start piling up. If we bring them late January, you're going into straight away. You're going into a busy fixture list, so that's not going to be worthwhile. I think Ange's probably seen the fact that we've got 2 games. Or 3 games, including the Burnley. I'm thinking, you know what? That will give me a lot more time to work with them. So get them in early, which I understand some people are saying, it's only the 4th of January, chill out. But I get that. But if we are going by what the words by Ange Postecoglou has said for a while now, why haven't we got them in? This should have been literally wait for the window to open up to say, here's your centre back and whoever else we're going after. And here we are tying deals with bringing Spence back, bringing Reguilon back, bringing Scarlett back. Great, but it's not the answer. It's not what the Spurs. I don't think all of us as Spurs fans were really. It's okay, but it's not what we wanted. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Reguilon's back as well. Don't forget this.
We'll come to that. Come to that. Don't worry. By the way,
you know what? You say Reguilon's not that bad because at the end of the day, you got Sessegnon's been injured. I just said earlier.
I'd rather Reguilon than Emerson Royale.
We've had Reguilon and with Sessegnon with a hamstring injury. You've had Bentancur who's done his ACL and his ankle, and the guy's come back to football before Sessegnon's with his ankle. Sessegnon's still got a hamstring from February.
I agree. Reggie's better than Emerson. Reggie's better than Emerson. I agree. I do agree. I do.
Just quickly, by the way, there has been a tweet from Matteo Moretto. He's got a little gold medal next to his name with a 1, which I think in today's world means something to people. I know. I just won't say it. I won't say it. It sounds awful. I said Napoli today took concrete steps for Radu Drusin by formalising a written offer to Genoa. Tottenham's relaunch. I love that. So that's the best word in this whole sentence. Tottenham's relaunch is expected as they already have an agreement with the defender. I don't know.
I'm trying to. Because what they've done is a direct translate relaunch is basically they're waiting for a counter offer. They're waiting for Spurs' counter offer.
Why is Lange and Scott Munn at this club? Why are they at Tottenham Hotspur? Someone tell me, please. Explain this to me.
Whilst someone's telling Stel, there's 349 of you in the chat, only 102 likes. That is absolutely shocking. There should be 250 likes minimum. Please go and subscribe to Perchy at In the Dugout. If any of my mods or any of my members would be so kind to find the links to these gentlemen, it would be great. By the way, it's just 2 links. Perchy at In the Dugout and this beautiful, beautiful array of gentlemen below me with varying looks, but all sexy in their own way at Tottenham Away. Please subscribe to them. Please smash the like and please keep subscribing to me as I head towards 13K. I never know who you believe these days. Is it Romano? Is it Damasio? Is it Matteo? I don't know. Will, if Napoli did, I'm just hypothetical before everyone shouts at me. If Napoli did get that deal done for Drusin, 1, how embarrassing is it for Tottenham Hotspur? And 2, how long before you get all the fans who were hyped about it saying, we didn't want him anyway. He plays for Genoa. He's rubbish. He can't do it in England, blah, blah, blah. You know it will happen. We didn't want him anyway. He can't cope with the pace of the Premier League. You know, all these types of rhetorics.
Well, I'm sure that's what the PR thing's going to spin out, but or that we're going for somebody better, or blah blah blah. Look, I mean, for me too. I mean, Drusin for me, from a statistical standpoint, that's my thing or whatever. Todibo was the better option. So while that was in a similar case with Van der Ven as well. So you never kind of know what's going to pop up, but I just the guy's right-footed, but he's played on the left a lot for Genoa, right? So so from a tactical standpoint, he's a guy that can play across that back line and play across that back line effectively. There's I don't know how they would try and spin it. I think he's good. He's young. He's strong. He wears his shorts too high, but other than that,
Do you know what? I don't think we. I know you're gonna hate this because I'm not gonna talk about title challenges. I'm not even going there, right? Because I know that's how it's gonna come across.
I'll leave that for Tottenham Away. I'll leave that for Tottenham Away to talk about that.
I'm looking at the team.
Horses, Iggy.
I'm looking at Chelsea. Think about it. Just go with me for a little bit here. I'm looking at Chelsea, looking at Man City, looking at they're all just kind of a little bit here and there. All right, Liverpool have picked up a little bit of pace, and Arsenal wobbling a little bit now. I just think, mate, what state of intent could we do if we just say, you know what? I don't think we're going to get another opportunity to even be in the mix, because next season, Man City are going to go big, Liverpool are going to go big, Newcastle, if they don't make Europe, they're going to go even more bigger. And you just think all these teams are going to go up and up. They're going to, and we're going to be there going haggling with 5 million. We're haggling 5 million in January. We're going to be like in the summer when these lot start banging them all out on the table, and they're fighting out between, and we're going to be like this. Ooh,
what did I say last show? Strike whilst the iron is hot. An opportunity's presented itself that no one thought would happen. The league title's wide open. Yes, Man City are most probably going to win it. But
it's open for Villa as well, by the way. They could do
there's
it as
five
well.
Teams. There's 5 teams you could say could possibly go and win it if they play their cards right. Man City are the hot favourites, and if you had to put money on it, you'd put it all on Man City. But whichever team shows the most ambition this window, I'm telling you, they could really shock everyone. And it's whether we are going to be that team. And the way we've started, we're not. And this was my point all along.
But by the way, anyone who's saying that Romano just tweeted for Drusin, not that I can see. When you say
Romano's absolutely convinced that he's, from what the indication he's been given, winking here and there, saying he wants Tottenham. He wants to come to Tottenham. They're just waiting for Spurs really to wrap that up. He wants to come to the Prem. Romano saying it. The only Italian teams I heard he was interested in was Inter and AC, and neither of those two teams are going in for him. Only Napoli has shown signs. So I think Genoa are happier with the money or the deal that Napoli are currently offering, but the player prefers the Tottenham move than to Napoli. That's essentially that's what's happening. Obviously, if Genoa accept the Napoli deal, the player has got no choice but to go to them. He ain't going to say no. So I don't know. It's just
I think this is just
one time. Get the deal done.
This is just a case of Spurs putting the money down. Really, we could talk about it in any way. I think Spurs have got to go and match a relative offer to what Napoli are doing now, and the player wants to come to Tottenham.
I don't even think the wages they want is extreme. Like considering what the wages everyone picks up now, I don't think he's even asked that excruciating amount of money.
It can't be. They just don't pay that much money over there, right? For the most part.
So there's no personal. What I'm trying to say, there's no personal terms stumbling blocks.
Personal terms have already been agreed, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just waiting for Spurs to say, "Come on, man."
Yeah, to put the money on the table.
Make it more clearer. Then say, "Come and get me, man."
The tweet that Fabrizio Romano has pinned right now to the top of his page is understood. Tottenham want new center back deal sealed by next week. So that would be this week.
Okay,
it's not sealed. So we got one more day. Todibo talks on, but Spurs want it to be done shortly. Spurs have another plan. So Dragonson was the plan because the Todibo one would take too long.
Can you rephrase that, please?
So there's A, B, and C.
It's too expensive. It's too expensive. Wouldn't take too long. The thing is, it's like anything, right? Listen, I'm not a fan of just pay whatever anybody wants. But I also am to a degree. When you're talking about players at 30 million euros, get it done. Can you now imagine Levy? Like people were talking about Bastoni. Remember when we were talking about Bastoni? People going, do you know what? We should go and put in a cheeky bid for Ivan Toney. We can't even get a 30 million euro player over the line, and people want to go and put 100 million pound down on Ivan Toney. Look, by the way, can we? I mean, when we're saying Napoli are a dead football club, I mean this is the current champions of Italy. Can we give a little bit of credit to teams that are a lot more successful than Tottenham? I mean, I really feel that we're getting way above our station with who we are at the moment. Listen, back to Stel's point about the league being open. I obviously Stel knows I disagree with him on that. I don't think the league is wide open for whoever has a good transfer window. I think the biggest transfer window that will happen is Man City getting back Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland. I don't think they need to sign anybody to go and win this league. I think they will win the league without signing anyone. I think for Liverpool to get over the line or Arsenal, they need to go and sign. For me, at Spurs, what can we sign to get over the line? I don't think we've got the ambition to sign what we need to get over the line. The difference is those clubs will go, if they want to and have the ambition, they'll go and buy top draw players that come in and hit the ground running. What we're doing is we're looking at 21-year-olds that will need time to settle. And that, for me, is the difference why it may be, if we're saying it's wide open, I don't think it is wide open. But if we're saying it's wide open, that's why I don't think, Stel, that we will ever entertain it, because the players we're linked with, Jota, all right, he's a decent player. Drusin, still young, needs time. It's not signings that you go, oh, this is setting the world right, is it? It's not. That's the difference between those clubs and us, for me. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Absolutely, I get where you're coming from, but this is why I said the board are the ones that need to show the ambition and seize the moment. It's not for Ange to do it. Ange is doing what he can. But if the board say, do you know what? An opportunity has presented itself. We've been here before. We were here with Redknapp. We didn't back it. We were here with Poch. We didn't back it. We actually got to cup final with Jose. We didn't back that either. We're here again. We are literally 6 points off the top. We are 1 point behind our arch rivals. We're in the mix.
This is a fair comment, by the way. We have spent 50 million on Johnson. We have spent 65 on Richarlison. We have spent money, badly, albeit, but we have spent money as well. So I get this comment here as well.
I get it, Iggy, but it's not like if most clubs, when they go and drop £60 million on a player, they bring in a ready-made top footballer. Spurs have gone and spent 50 million on Brennan Johnson, who's, sorry, for me, meh. We've gone and spent 60 million on Richarlison, who now apparently I've got to write a letter of apology to because he scored a couple of tap-ins. You know, listen, I just think I agree with Stel and disagree with him all at once. We know the board is the problem, right? We know they're not going to do what is desired to take this club from, hey, we're 6 points off the top, to do we really want to win a title? And that's going to be my worry every single... Is that fair, Perchy? That's my worry every window when people go, we're cooking... Like, when I hear all these sentences trotted out, trust Big Ange. It's not about trusting Ange. You know, trust the process. It's not about trusting a process. Trust son Maddison. It's not about trusting them. It's about the board giving what is needed, that sprinkle of stardust to get you over the line.
No, I used the word earlier, ambition. Where's the ambition from the people at the top to go, do you know what? Like, I think what Stel, I get what Stel's saying, though. Like, there is a slight opportunity if we can go, do you know what? Let's go and be a bit brave in this window. Let's get it done early. I think the bit when people say we're cooking and all these phrases, you know, I can't stand all that stuff, because I sit back and everyone talks about, Drusin, but I said, well, before people were saying, maybe you need to show a bit more credit, blah, blah, we're starting to change. We haven't done anything yet. He's not holding a Spurs shirt. He's not sat there doing the crazy intro video that the club love to do and all this. And he's not sat there and had an interview yet. Nothing's happened yet. He hasn't signed for Tottenham yet. I'm one of those. I'll always give credit where credit's due. If he was signed on the first day of the window, I've gone on the first day of the window. I've gone, do you know what? Fair play, quickly done, job done. He's playing against Burnley now on Friday. But he hasn't signed yet. And I think this is the frustration. We always hear this, we're changing our ways. We haven't really changed anything yet because we've been seeing this for year after year. I think that's the bit, though.
We've not
it's
shown any
okay.
signs of changes. That's the issue.
But that's the key bit, right? That's
But then
the bit
why
I'm
are
trying
people
to-
saying we have changed? When
that's
people are
my
convincing
point.
me it's
Where have
different,
we
what
changed? We've changed style of
has
football.
changed? Yes.
We changed style of football under the manager. We've on the pitch.
Well,
we have seen with our own eyes.
Not the last 4 or 5 games we haven't, but yeah, I hear you. In
Okay,
general,
but
we have.
in the grand scheme of things,
I hear you.
we've
I
changed.
hear you.
But why do we believe in what we're seeing? Because we are seeing it. We are seeing it with our own eyes. But the stuff that we can't see, so what's happening behind the scenes, they need to show evidence of something changing. And so far, given what the words of the manager and how we wanted things to operate for the first few days, get the players in, we have not seen that. We have not seen, and the terms of the deals and haggling over 5 million. These are all signs that are from the old. It's still the same stuff. Old. There's nothing new in all of it.
Iggy, until we win trophies, nothing has changed. Nothing. I've seen us get top 4. I've seen us get to finals. I've seen us get to semi-finals.
That is true.
I've seen us sign good players. I've seen us sign bad players. I've seen good managers come to this club. I've seen average. I've seen elite. I've seen poor. I haven't seen trophies.
Yeah.
For 12 years. Until we win trophies, nothing has changed at this club.
Yeah.
That is it. It really is that simple.
It's difficult to argue. It's difficult for me to argue. It's hard to argue that because essentially the purpose of elite football is to win trophies. So I don't,
Well, that's the key bit, right? That's the key bit. We haven't won anything since 2008. So whatever people want to sort of spin it in whatever way, Stel's right. Nothing's changed since 2008. We haven't won anything.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing, right? And I know it's really, really difficult to have these types of conversations because most of the time people just want to go, oh, you don't like Ange, or oh, you hate what we're doing. But Stel is absolutely 100% spot on. We've seen attractive football before, right? We've seen attractive football before. This isn't new. This is what we wanted. This is going back to what we wanted, right? We've seen Spurs top 4. We've seen Spurs finish second under Poch, third under Poch. But Stel's right. And I'm not saying it has to be this year because it's year 1. But for me, when people go, it's changed, what? What's changed? Okay, we made some good signings. Van der Ven's a great signing. Vicario, Maddison. But then on top of that, you also look, with every great signing, there's some mess signings, right? So, Will, I'm not saying anything hasn't changed per se, but has enough changed for the massive optimism that Ange is cooking and I feel like, let me rephrase that, Will. I feel like there's so much pressure being put on Ange, but he's being asked to turn water into wine, like managers before him.
I guess you could see it as pressure. I don't necessarily think of it as pressure. I think he just has the ability to do it intrinsically in and of himself, but he's going to need the help to get to accomplish those things based on the players that he gets. So for me, I think tactically and system-wise, I think he's got the tools. I think he has the tools to get the job done if he's given the right players. Mm-hmm. And they don't have to be superstars. They don't have to be world-class. They just have to be able to do what he wants them to do well. And if he gets those players, I think we have a really good chance. I think we have a really good chance to be a serious contender for the league. But if we don't get those players, then it doesn't matter, right? I could be the best. I could be the best guitarist in the world, but if I'm given a tiny ukulele that has 2 broken strings, I can give it a go. I mean, I can make it sound musical, but it's never going to, I'm never going to sell 1 million records with it. You know what I mean?
Just quickly, I'd just like to say, David, when you're saying sadly negativity is becoming part of my DNA, all I've done in this show is ask questions, right? All I've done is ask questions. I haven't said anything that isn't true, David. I mean, I don't know. Have I? I think we're on the right path with Ange. I love the football under Ange. I think I echo exactly what Will has just said. Give him the tools. I trust the manager. What's negative about that, David? My negativity is against the board and the owners for not getting it done. You know, I'm not talking about just getting Drusin over the line. For me, Drusin isn't the difference between winning a title or not. I think you need some stardust. But when people say sadly negativity, you do realize that I'm hosting a YouTube show about football. I can't just sit here and go, guys, everything's great, isn't it? Yeah, let's end the show then. It's great. We're winning everything. Come on, David, grow up. Look at you. You're a grown man. I'm telling you, grow up. Guys, sorry, I hate it when people do this. I'm just trying to create debate for people to watch and they have a pop. Guys, let's move on, right? Let's move on from that. We have got 5 players returning to Tottenham. I think it's 5. I can't think of any more. We've got Jed Spence, who Leeds terminated his loan, right? We've got Scarlett coming back. He was given us something like 150 minutes in half a season. We've got Tanganga, didn't play a single minute for Augsburg. Ndombele, sent back by Galatasaray. And Serge Reguilon, who wasn't getting into the Man United team. What happens with these 5 guys? I don't know why I'm doing that. That's 10. What happens with these 5 guys? Do you guys see any of them coming in and having an impact, or do they need to go straight back out on loan or being sold? Anyone can go. Just a general discussion.
I'll start it off. I think it literally says absolutely everything that's wrong at the moment. It's football club. They've all come back because they've done nothing. The arguments that I got into the other day about Sergio Reguilon was brilliant. Maybe Ange can do something with him. Wasn't Ange the manager that sent him to Man United? Isn't Ange the one that has come out and said, I want to send him out on loan? And then I get told, why don't you trust the manager? Why don't you people trust the manager? Because the manager doesn't want this guy. The guy's awful. I'd rather Emerson Royale at left back. That says how bad I think this guy is. You know, when your character is built on having a very good looking wife, that's when you know as a football player you're not very good. That you're dictated about that your wife is very good looking. I think Reguilon's awful. Tanganga's awful. Scarlett's come back says everything. In a thriving Ipswich side, by the way, that are run for a promotion, potentially even a title. Who was the other one you said? There was a few that was on that.
Ndombele, Tanganga, Spence.
Jed Spence, where people are telling me he done well for Leeds. He played 9 games. Let's be fair. He started 7, came off the bench twice. I don't know where people have come with this narrative that he's done well at Leeds. Look, we've got. Do you know what? This is one of those problems that I felt I
By the way, Perchy, just quickly, Jed Spence has not completed 90 minutes once.
Yeah, but he's had a good half season at Leeds, I've been told. I don't know why, how. Look, this is a problem.
7 league games. 7. He's only played 7 games, not 9. 7.
Do you know? You know what I don't understand? Jurgen Klopp joins Liverpool. He cleared out everything. I think only 2 players survived, right? Arteta's gone into Arsenal. He's cleared everyone out. Only 3 players survived. Andrew's come in and they're still lingering around our club.
Because we send them out on loan. There was such contracts that we can't get rid of them, man. They're on contracts that we can't get rid of them. They keep coming back because they're proved to be even shitter than what they were when they were at Spurs. That's all that's happening here. They're like, do you know what? What are you giving us here? And they're just batting them back. They're like, see you later. All jokes aside, Reguilon, I would keep to the end of the season because on that left back, we really are scarce outside of the doggy. Spence can go because we've got Porro and Emago in that area. Numerically speaking, Scarlett is coming in for Villiers, who's out for 2 or 3 months. So I get that because one's replacing the other, at least to the end of the season is what I'm saying. And Ndombele, honestly, with Maddison coming back and Lo Celso and Kulusevski playing in the
But
10, I don't
wouldn't
see
play-
any
he
use
wouldn't-
for him.
He wouldn't play anyway if they weren't coming back. His attitude stinks, right? That's why even at Galatasaray,
He's a baller from what you told me.
you-
He's a
Don't
baller.
use that term, man.
He's a
Iggy,
baller.
I want to pull something up what you said. You said about
I'm talking
Sergio
about
Reguilon.
Ndombele, man.
He's a
Let's be
baller.
fair. This is a
his
Sergio
attitude
Reguilon.
stinks, though.
This
His
is a
attitude
Sergio
stinks.
Reguilon that got displaced by Diego Dallo, a natural right back who ended up playing at left back at Man United, who are in an absolute shambles of a season. Let's call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. He got displaced by a right back. Why would we want him at our club? He's crap.
Perchy,
He got injured.
He did, but
So that's why he got displaced.
He's not injured at the moment. He sat on the bench whilst Diego Dallo's playing left back.
When Shaw came back,
Huh?
he sat on the bench when Shaw came back. He played 2 or 3 games for
What?
Manchester United,
Diego
then got
Dallo
injured.
playing left
Who we're
back.
talking about here?
Richie, he's right. Diego Dallo did play there. Will he was?
I know he played there, but
He's
he
playing
didn't
left
play
back
there
while he's sat on the
regularly.
bench.
No. What I'm saying, outside of Udogie, we haven't got anything else at left back. Somebody that can go with the same intent. I'm saying to the end of the season. That's all I'm saying.
Hang on. That's not true, Iggy. That's not true.
We've got
If
Emerson,
you,
yeah?
yeah. Come on, don't you forget Emerson Royale. Listen, you've got if Drusin comes in, Mickey van der Ven is accomplished at left back as he is centre half. Ben Davis would also then be pushed back out to his normal position of left back. Iggy, I'm not saying it's great, but you see the face you pulled there for Ben Davis? That's the face I'm going to pull for Serge Reguilon.
All I'm saying is that I could to the end. I'm saying to the end of the season, and then see how what intent he comes back with in this 6 months. And he's got to convince the manager, not the other way around. Remember, it's the player that's got to convince the manager, not the other way around. And but the other guys, Tanganga, I don't know, man. I don't know. The difference with players like Spence, he's coming back to a manager that perhaps he can try and convince. With Conte, Conte outed him straight away, so he didn't want him straight away. So I don't know. All I'm saying is these players are coming back to a different environment to one that they've left.
How long do we say that for? How long do we say that for?
This is the problem. This is the problem, right? Savva's gone and thrown.
I'm not defending them.
You are. Iggy wants Reggie to take Udogie's place.
Me and Ndombele, I've had streams, I've had wars about Ndombele. Wars. With this guy here.
Whilst we're talking about these 5 players that are coming back to the club, right? These 5 frauds coming back to the club, right? These absolute fraudulence, right? We're sitting here talking about Reggie, maybe Ndombele.
Tanganga's English.
Dead Spence.
Tanganga's English.
This is the fucking problem with our club. We're talking about these 5 imbeciles, and we're dismissing the fact that we still got Skip, Højbjerg, Brian Hill.
Don't disrespect Skip now.
But we're deflecting. No, because you don't like him, right? We're deflecting from the fact
you love him.
I mentioned 10 names, and you picked the 2 to try and trigger me. You can't trigger me. Right? You can't trigger me. I see what you're doing, Iggy.
Only planes landing badly can trigger Stel.
Rumbled.
That freaked me out. Oh my god! It was the rain was so heavy, man. Anyway, the point is, we're talking about these 5 players that aren't actually at the club. They're out on loan, but now they're coming back. We've got to talk about them. That we are ignoring the existing problems at this squad. And there is so many players at this club that shouldn't be allowed to wear a Spurs shirt.
Crazy.
Under any top manager, they would be near the club, yet they're still here. We've got so much to get rid of, man. We've got so many players to get rid of.
But do you know what? I think you've got a great point in that, because the problem is now, like, it makes you sit back and think now, it's like, well, these players are now coming back. It's diverted I think you've got what I'm trying to sort. It's diverted the opinion that we can't get rid of Højbjerg now. It's like, what? All of them have to go. I think it's like
because we've got to get rid of Ndombele first.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. I think, look, this is just there's no reason beyond. But I think we will. If Ndombele comes back, I think his contract's going to get ripped up. Has to. Surely we've got to terminate this guy. We can't. He's going to cause more harm at the football club
His wages are too high to tear up.
Doesn't
His
matter
wages
now.
are massive.
We're going to have to, whether we like it or not, we're going to have to pay this guy's wages, whether we pay it in now, immediately, all in one go, or we wait until and let him sit and do nothing. I would rather him not be around our players anymore. This guy's got, like, the attitude his attitude stinks. I think Region, like, we sit there and say about cover and all this lot. The manager, from what the reports I've read, is Spurs are immediately trying to send this guy out on loan immediately. Tanganga's going to be a weird one. Like, I mean, he's probably not on massive comp. He might just stick around. But what the harm is, the more of these players that have come back are going to harm Tottenham in the sense of registration. Because then you sit back and go, okay, well, now we've got to figure out what we're doing with these lads, because we want to sign Drusin, Yotta. I'm just picking 3 names out of there. One space is freed up because we've let Hugo Lloris go to LA. But we've got these lads coming in. What do we do with them? We have to figure. It's crazy, though.
Just before we move on,
we don't need to figure anything out. This should have all been done in the 2 months of Lange, Munn, Paratici, Levy, all of them. They've had 2 months to look at all of this. This is why I keep going back to it. Why are they here at the club? What are they doing? Like, what? Honestly, guys, what are they actually doing? Because I've seen nothing so far.
Well, listen, we'll come back to that in a second. Just really, really quickly, guys and girls, for anyone that, yes, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been sent off for the most atrocious VAR decision you're ever going to see. The game has gone. It was never a red card in a million years. But Palace 0, Everton 0, 10 minutes to go in the cup, and Palace are now all over them. Back on our stream here, there's 398 of you in here and 156 likes. Guys, you will never hear me asking you for money, ever. I will never ask for super chats or for you to pay to be a member. All I ask is for all the hard work that everyone in here tonight has given up their time to put on a show, please smash the like button. We should be on 250 minimum. We're on 156. And that means there's nearly 250 of you that haven't. So please do that. Please keep subscribing. Subscribe to Perchy in the Dugout. Subscribe to Tottenham Away. And the super chat that we got earlier was big up Savva. And guys, question 5th, no cup, or 8th with FA Cup. I'm going to save this. I am going to come back to this again when we start talking about Burnley tomorrow night. So I am not ignoring that. I will come back to this. I just want to ask, so realistically, does anyone see any of them walking straight into the team?
No.
Any of the guys coming back?
Any of the 5 guys coming back?
No.
God, you made me want a burger by keep saying 5 guys. No, none of them.
None of them.
No,
Iggy's thinking.
They're crap.
Iggy wants Tanganga, centre half.
No. I think. Listen, first team. I give Scarlett the biggest chance out of all of them.
What are you doing?
Oh, you mean with all the injuries and stuff like that? Well, Udoji's not injured, so no.
I think
you couldn't even do it in League One.
Listen, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I just think that he will get opportunities above the others.
Hang on, Iggy. Can't you see? Right, Iggy. I don't think Iggy's wrong here. I don't think he's wrong here because Tottenham Hotspur, right? We'll get on to tomorrow night in a minute, right? But realistically, what have we got to play in that front 4? If we're going to count the number 10 position, you have got Richarlison, Kulu, Brennan Johnson, and possibly Lo Celso can play in the hole, right?
Yep.
Other than that, you've got Brian Hill and Dane Scarlett.
I think so. I think he's gonna get. I think he'll get his chances. I don't. Whether Scarlett takes him or not is another matter. I just think if he's as good as what we've been led to believe, that he's done really well. Forget the loan because the loan can go well. How many times? How many times?
Is the question about starting 11 or being in the squad?
No,
I mean, both.
They're all going to be in the squad, aren't they?
Let's rephrase it.
On the bench. I agree.
Are we going to see Dorrington?
Hang on.
Are we going to see Dorrington, Phillips, Donnelly? Are we going to start seeing these youngsters that we've been wanting to see? Are we going to see them now drop out the squad for the likes of Tanganga, Spence,
They're no
Scarlett,
better, so.
Reggie? What do we...
There's a possibility that these guys could be going back out on loan this month.
I don't rate any
Sure.
of these academy players to be quality players either. So
And he's not.
two
Did you
different
hear
sides of the
Ange?
same coin.
Ange is not going to use the FA Cup. He's not going to make the. He was asked that question. Given what happened in the League Cup, are you going to do? And he goes, "What do you think?" He's not going to make that same mistake twice. He can't afford to either.
I bet you he doesn't play the strongest squad. I bet
Why?
you.
We're not playing United to the 14th.
No. I think he's got an eye on that Man United game. Because Man United.
Yeah, but that's on the 14th, man. That's in 10 days' time.
Don't matter. Don't matter.
What?
We can't afford another injury again.
We can't afford to go out of the cup.
But
No. Stop. Hold on. When you say we can't afford to go out of the FA Cup, who do you mean by we? Who's we?
I'm not talking about Burnley, am I?
The football club.
Not Burnley, am I?
No.
He's a Burnley fan.
No. So you haven't answered the question. You haven't answered the question.
Who am I talking? When I say we, who am I mean? Who am I
What's I'm asking
The
you?
club.
That's the question. Who's we?
Football club.
Spurs
fans.
I'm confused. Am I not getting it?
I don't think Levy is part of that we.
Oh, okay. You mean the
Okay.
team and the board? You're I mean we as the team. The board, I don't know. Listen. What have I said for a minute? How long we've been doing this YouTube now?
Too long.
How long have we been saying we don't know what the club's mindset is because they don't verbally? Yeah, we know through their non-actions. But I'm saying nobody has ever outed and said this year we want to do this, and this. I'm talking about on the pitch, not off the pitch. On the pitch, we want to do this. We want to deliver this.
Our strongest squad tomorrow available for the Burnley game.
I don't think people have
players.
I don't think people have understood me when I said about Troy Parrott. I'm not sort of saying Son's going to be out of the team for Troy Parrott. I'm just saying out of all those players that are coming back, I think he will be the one giving them the opportunities because we got to think about it.
Troy Parrott's one that hasn't come back on
Dane Scarlett, I beg your pardon, lapses.
He might be tomorrow, by the way.
Dane Scarlett will be given, I think, out of the ones there because I think everyone else, if they're fit, they're not going to get a look in. But I think Scarlett, with Son away, Brian Hill's the only alternative to the ones that are currently playing. Belize, who was starting to get minutes, got himself injured. I think he whether he takes it or not is another matter. I just think he'll be given the opportunities, and I hope he does well, man. I really do. I think this kid.
But I sit back
something needs to happen.
I think about it and go, look. Do you know what? I'll put it out there. I'd actually rather someone like Donnelly start over Dane Scarlett. No disrespect, because I sit back and go, why? Like this kid sat on the bench. At least he's been he's got himself through a bit of fortune with injuries and stuff. But here's the question, Ryan. Look, I use it sort of what Stel said about, we're going to play a week side. He's worried about Man United. It's not like we're playing him twice in a week. We're playing once a week still.
But it's not going to be any of these guys, right? What he'll do is he'll end up moving Kulu back into the wing, right? Celso will play in the 10.
Yeah, Skip, Johnson to the left.
Skip and Bentancur.
I heard someone saying Solomon's back.
I don't think he starts Bentancur.
Yeah, he will.
I think he'll start Bentancur. I reckon he'll want to give him more minutes in his legs.
100%.
I think it's going to be Skip.
Look how quickly he rushed him back for the league game. Like
no. Benny's got to play. Benny's got to play.
League game. The Premier League.
And then you're going to have a Doji.
You cannot. All right. Benny cannot not play when you got a game tomorrow and the next game's on the 14th, and that's another, what is it? It's 10 days where he doesn't play tomorrow. He doesn't get another game for another 10 days. You can't leave him out for that long.
Yeah, no.
He's
just
been
started
long already.
Why wouldn't he start this time?
Listen.
I think he'll build up the minutes to 70. Instead of 60 minutes, he'll probably build it up to 70, 75. But he'll
Hang on,
play.
can we get to the crux of this, right? Stel, I'm going to focus on you, right?
Big up the Burnley Massive.
So, the Burnley Massive, yeah. If you can't see what Postecoglou's doing, get down to Turf Moor, right? Get down to Turf Moor, all right? Vincent Company's Claret Army. Stel.
Great time of year to get up there.
Oh, I can imagine how cold it is there. I've been there in January before, and it was
wooden seats.
It's cold, man. Stel, so in your world, you don't think Bentancur plays, and you don't think that Postecoglou puts out his strongest available players tomorrow. What 11 are you expecting to see?
I might be wrong about Bentancur, but I think he will rest him. But I can see what you guys are saying, that he's going to.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just asking who you think's going to play.
No. The point you made about he's going to want him minutes to get his fitness back up. That bit I can see, right? But if that wasn't the case, I think he wouldn't start. So I'm 50-50 on it. But yeah, I don't think he'll start the strongest team. I think Skip and Højbjerg will start in the midfield.
Oh hell!
I think them two will be in our
Hell
midfield.
no.
Yeah, I think they will.
Hang on. But when you say that,
Don't be surprised if Eric Dyer starts tomorrow.
hang on, Stel, what are you doing to us? What are you
Stop
doing?
it. Stop it. Nah, it's too much. It's too much.
It's not too much. He's going to rest players. I think he's going to rest players for this game. He'll have them on the bench. So if he goes tits up, he'll bring them on, right? But I think he's going to rest players tomorrow. I don't think he's going to take this game.
Can I ask who though?
But it's
You're
not a
saying
matter of if
you're
he goes
saying
tits
against
up.
Fulham
It
hasn't
will
been
go
learned.
tits up if he starts those players. It's not a
I
matter
know.
of if.
I know that. But
So
I
if
think
you know
Burnley-
that, then why would
Dude,
you say,
after
hey, look, you know
Fulham-
what, let's go tits up
because
first and then we'll go
After
tits down
Fulham
later.
and what he said in the press conference, saying that
Yeah.
he's not. He was clearly asked, "Are you going to do what you did at Fulham and make all these changes?" And he's turned around and go, "What do you think?"
So he
As
hasn't
if to
said
say,
no.
"Of course I am."
So
He ain't. Come on, man.
Did he say
Come
no?
on. I swear to God, if he makes all those changes he did against Fulham and we get out the FA Cup, I'm Ange out.
Would anyone like to know?
I'll be Ange out.
Do you want to know what I would do tomorrow?
We
This
might
No,
still
we
win.
don't have a game for another 10 games. If we were playing Man United or not, if we were playing Man United on Monday night, I would say, do you know what? I get the thinking. We haven't got Man United to the following weekend. That's 10 days.
Burnley are going to rest players as well because they need to try and stay in the Premier League. They're not going to.
Yeah, but they haven't got a game for like 8 or 9
Still.
days.
You cannot tell me we're going to play Dyer tomorrow and Højbjerg and.
Can I tell you?
I think both Burnley and Spurs are not going to play their strongest teams, guys. That's my view.
Why?
All right, can I tell you what I would do tomorrow? As Juventus goes 6-1 up in their game, by the way. Smash the likes. I'm only going to... Come on. We're on 191 likes. Smash the like button. Please, can somebody go and get the link to Tottenham Away and whack it in the chat and to in the dugout? Thank you very much. I would do this. Tell me if I'm wrong, right? I would go Vicario in goal, Porro, Davis. I personally would go with Ashley Phillips or Dorrington. He won't. It will be Emerson Royale and Adogi. Then I would go with Benton, Caller, Celso, and I would put in Donnelly. And then I would have Brennan Johnson, Kulu, and Richarlison. That's what I would do to avoid playing a Højbjerg or a Skip. What he will do, that's what I would have done, right? What he will do is play Royale at centre-half. He'll put Højbjerg, I think, alongside either Højbjerg or Skip alongside Bentancur with Gio in the hole, Kulu right, Johnson will shuffle back to left where he's not effective, and Richie up front. There you go. Yeah. I reckon that'll be the 11 tomorrow.
I think Brian Hill might even start tomorrow.
Oh Lord!
Will have his Brian Hill shirt on.
Playing in the Italian Cup. Salernitana's gone over there, who are currently the same sort of Burnley, and they've just gone to them. Move, man. They've just gone move out of the way. 6-1, smashing them to pieces. They've just gone, see it, move, get out of my way. We need to start doing this as well a little bit. We're in a situation tomorrow we could be slapping them up.
I would play our strongest 11, try and go 3-0 up, and then start rotating with 25 minutes to go. That's what I would do. I don't think that's what we're going to do, though, guys. It's just my opinion on that. Tomorrow we'll find out.
Could we not see a Donnelly tomorrow? Like
we should. We should.
I think we should see Fraser Forster in goal. All
right, Burnley.
Don't bet against that, Iggy.
No, I think you'll probably end up.
I won't be watching. I won't. As soon as I see that lineup.
You know what? I get what Iggy's saying. Though, I won't go to his.
Iggy and I will kill the watch along right then and there.
Yeah. Don't expect me on. I'm telling you.
Hang on. Go on, Perchy. Go on.
I just want to say, no. I actually get what Iggy's saying because this manager's seen it against Fulham. I said it at the time. Savva, we were doing the watch for that game. Said it at the time. Benefit of the doubt first time. Does it again? I will be critical. We can't rotate the squad. The squad's not good enough. We've got tons of injuries anyway. Why can't we give it a go? We've got no reason to have a go at the FA Cup this season. As we say it like we have to pick one or the other. No, why can't we have a long run in the FA Cup?
Perchy,
We already know one of the big boys is getting knocked out in the first round. Well, the third round. One of the big boys is guaranteed to be gone. So why can't we just go, do you know what? Let's show it. We've got no reason. There's no game midweek. We then play again.
Exactly this. Exactly this.
We got
yeah, but against Fulham, although I completely disagree with it, making 10-11 changes was ridiculous. But we had 3 games that week. I remember it. We had 3 games in 10 days. Tomorrow we won't have a game. When are we playing? Like Man United the following Sunday.
Sunday.
10 days, man. 10 days. Yeah. And we're playing Burnley at home. Don't forget that. Burnley at home. And then Man United away in 10 days' time. That's more than sufficient amount of time to recover.
Iggy,
come on, man.
Listen, this is what I think Ange is thinking. I think that tonking at Brighton shook him up a little bit, right? Brighton took us to pieces, right? To absolute shreds. The only reason we got 2 goals is because they got a bit complacent, took their foot off the gas. And I said it when we did our show.
Burnley are not Brighton now, man. Right? And we're at home.
Yeah, they're not. You're right. However, Man United at their ground this season haven't been horrendous. Away from home, they've been the worst. They've had a couple of shockers at home, but away from home, but at home, Man United, we shouldn't just assume they're crap, we're going to beat them. And I think he looks at that Man United game, knowing I haven't got Son, I haven't got Bissouma, I haven't got Pape Sarr, I've got my striker Veliz out as well, I've got other injuries. There's players coming back, but have they got 90 minutes in them off their injuries? I don't know. And I think he's just looking at that Man United game and thinking, we can beat them. I can't have another Brighton. Can I risk playing my best players against Burnley in a game that maybe I can put a weaker squad out and just prevent a couple of them getting injured? And this is why I said I think we'll play a weaker squad.
Is he putting himself in the firing line, though?
Yeah, exactly. I say get through the Burnley. Get through the Burnley game. Get through the next round of the cup, and then a Man United. What's the worst case? What's the worst case that can happen to Man United? We come away for a defeat. When have we ever won at Old Trafford? Hardly ever. So it's not like saving yourself tomorrow.
This is a Man United team that's got the worst records. They're breaking.
Okay, but
so it is pretty bad if we go there and lose. Yes, it is.
Yes, but but there's no guarantees that. If we don't put a full team out tomorrow, we don't go out, and then we still can go out and lose against Man United anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, every game. I think this month is
Burnley's at home tomorrow night. Let's get that wrapped up.
That's not how managers think.
Let's get that qualification. Let's get that qualification down.
I agree with what.
And guys, one at a time. We've got to have one at a time. I can't. Sorry, guys. I just can't hear what anyone's saying. Sorry, go on. Whoever was.
What I was saying here is I agree with what Iggy's saying, because the thing is I was critical of other managers playing weakened sides, so I can't sit back and go, oh well, he's doing it because this. Iggy's right.
We're not Man City or Liverpool. We're not.
We could play a weakened side against Burnley, get knocked out tomorrow. We could then stay the strongest team against Man United and get beaten there. Worry about the game in advance. Win the game, move on, and let's go. There's a week in advance. It's not like we're playing midweek. It's not like we're playing 2 games.
You have a better chance on your strongest team against Man United. That's the point.
Sorry, why, Stel? Why?
Wait,
sorry, what's the point? What's the point of having footballers at your club, but yet when you come to a big game, let's be fair, the cup game is a big game, right? And then we go, oh, well, we can't play them in case they get injured 9 days before another game. Surely, if you're going to live life like that, then you're never, ever going to win anything because you're always worried about players getting injured, right?
I agree with you. I'm just telling you what I think Ange is thinking with what's going on right now. I think Ange will rest players tomorrow because of this.
Would you rest players?
No, I wouldn't. I'd play my strongest 11 because I would put the FA Cup above top 4. I've always said that.
I put the FA Cup over anything at the moment.
I don't think Ange will, though. Not with the situation we're in.
Okay, if he doesn't, then we have to be fair and be critical if he doesn't. If we get knocked out because we've played a rotated weekend, whatever you want to call it, then that's on the manager. The manager has to.
Would it be on the manager if he's been told by the board?
Only
if it wasn't getting told by the board.
Only if we get pumped at Man United, Perchy. If we do Man United, then no.
Hang on. But aren't we doing that thing we always do, right? What we're doing here is we're giving get out clauses to managers for no reason at all.
I'll criticize him.
If tomorrow night he puts out the first team, right, and then we get a couple of injuries and that first team loses at Man U, all we're going to do is go, there you go. It's because of what happened 9 days ago against Burnley.
Yeah,
we can't live like that.
Well, no, when you're already depleted, the situation is different, isn't it? Like,
look at the players we've got that. Hang on, Stel. Look at the players we've got that should play tomorrow against Burnley. They should sweep Burnley aside, right? And in between that, you've got Van der Ven, and you got Van der Ven coming back. You've got Solomon that they're saying he's going to be back by the Man United game. So there's two players.
We hope so. We hope so.
Maddison's not far off either as well. But
we hope they're back. These are all reports.
Yeah, I get that. But,
no one said Bentancur was back.
No, it's not. No, Mark Changa, it is not the worst in the league. Stop these lies. It is not the worst crisis in the league. Stop it. I am sick of these excuses. Everyone else has massive injuries. You just choose to ignore them. If you're going to go down the route of we're missing our best players, Man City are missing John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne, arguably the best player in the league, and Erling Haaland, arguably the best goal scorer in world football. Jeremy Doku is missing as well. Liverpool are missing Thiago Alcantara, Matip, Robertson. Like, can we stop doing this? That it's just us. This is driving me mad.
I agree with Mark, but he needs to reword it. It is the worst injury crisis, along with Newcastle, based on the level of squad quality we've got. Right, based on the quality of squad, yes. Man City have got loads of injuries, but they've just got a better squad. They can handle it better. We can't handle it, I think.
But again, this is a fallacy. This is a fallacy. Man City actually have a small squad. This whole thing of course it's better than ours. Of course their squad is better than ours. Yeah, I get it. But we can't just do this. Somebody put up on the screen yesterday in a show I was on. They showed Liverpool's players this year, the number of games they've missed. I'm talking Jota. Yeah, I'm talking Jota, Luis Diaz, Thiago Alcantara, Matip, Konate, Robertson. And the number of games they all missed compared to the number of games that our players missed that are our first team regulars was night and day. They've missed loads more than ours. But because we don't have a squad, we say that we've got the worst.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
it's
it.
not that we're worst injuries.
No.
Worst injuries.
We just ours is more noticeable. We get injuries for the first team. The drop off is massive compared to perhaps they who have got better backups. Essentially, they have better backups.
Iggy, that's the difference. Look at Brentford right now. If anyone's going to talk about injury crisis, Brentford, Chelsea, Man United blow us out the water for injury crisis, right? But everyone, by the way, is happy to laugh at Chelsea and Man United. Everyone's laughing at Chelsea and Man United. Look at them. When they've had a worse injury crisis, but then want to use it as an excuse for us why we're not.
Yeah, but hold on. The Chelsea one is because they spent £1 billion, right?
That doesn't matter. You've still only got the number of players you've got.
Yeah, I hear you, but because they've spent so much money in there in this mess. I think.
But still, one game this year they had 14 first-team players out injured. You could spend 50 billion. You're still missing 14 players. It's just a number. It's a fallacy.
But there'd be more sympathy if they spent 50 million. I think it's because
it's not about sympathy. I don't want sympathy for Spurs having injuries. You know what I want, Stel? You know what I want?
Yeah.
I want the board should have done in the summer what they needed to do. Right? We're all sitting here, right? Going, these injury crises to Van der Ven and Romero. When that window shut in the summer, not any of you guys, I know all of you guys would have wanted it. The number of people that come in my chat and go, Savva's moaning again. Savva's moaning we didn't get another centre-half. And I'm sitting there saying to people, watch when one of these centre-halves gets injured, what happens to us.
We've had both of them out.
Right, and that's the point, Iggy. Both. But we wouldn't have felt the pain if Spurs had gone and got another centre half in the summer. If
Of
we'd
course.
gone and got another centre half, let's be fair, Romero, it's only the last game he's missed through injury. Before that, the games he was missing were through suspension. So you would have had Romero plus the other new centre half. And we're not talking about, oh, look how depleted we are at the back. That's the difference, right? So for me, we have this conversation.
Mate, we're playing fullbacks at centre backs. We are playing with four
Whose fault
fullbacks.
is that? Whose fault is that, Iggy?
We are playing. Name me another team in that top 6 that play with 4 fullbacks for the amount of games that we've played this season.
I think as well though, like when you look at the
It's our
other
fault.
teams, when you look at the other teams who've got injury crisis or injury problems, put Chelsea to one side, Man United, Newcastle. We finished below these teams. Like we our squad for me was weaker than theirs anyway. So when you add injuries to these teams and we're high up, it just goes to show that injuries, if we didn't have them, how much higher could we be? And I think that's the kind of angle I look at it at. I get what you're saying, Sam. I don't disagree with you. I just think that.
Sorry, what does this mean? Man U, I absolutely hate that. Are they not Man U? What have I said?
Oh,
The
don't.
second person said that.
Yeah,
Anyway, carry on. Sorry, for me, it's the second person that said you can't use the term Man U. I don't
Yes, you
understand.
can. That's what they call it. They're called Man U.
Man
Um,
United.
that's what they're called.
I've always called them Man U. Yeah.
Man
What's
United.
going
It's
on?
nothing to do with the. It's rubbish. It's
Oh,
rubbish.
okay, cool. All right, cool. Whatever it is.
Listen,
I can't stop, go
How about this? Man, you suck. Take it whichever way you want.
Still,
You personally, doesn't matter.
I hear your point, right? That we were above them, but you've got to remember, right? When we're sitting there, right, all saying, "Look how bad Man United are." Man United have been missing so many players all season.
Savva, I said this 2 weeks ago on the show when I said Man United aren't as bad as everyone's making them out to be. They've just got a lot of injuries. Ten Hag's not doing a good job. What you said now, I actually said 2 weeks ago, and you all disagreed with me on that. I think Chelsea, Newcastle,
10.
Brentford, Man United, I think all those clubs have got a fair excuse to say, look, injuries has hurt us. I think they've all got the same excuse as Spurs. But for me, other than Brentford, Spurs have got a bigger excuse because our squad was the weakest of those. Our squad
And
was
they've had Europe. They've had Europe as well.
These guys have been playing twice. By the way, sorry. When have we lost 10 top players? Sorry, what have I missed?
I don't think we've got 10 top players.
Right, Van der Ven, right? At the time, it was Van der Ven, Maddison, and Bentancur, right?
Yeah.
Then it's only recently, I think 1 game ago, that Romero got injured. Other than that, if we're going to start doing this whole thing with Sessegnon, Whiteman, Perchy, who was a bit part player. Hang on, we can't be disingenuous here. Man United have been missing. But we talk about, okay, let's look at this. You know, we talk about our 2 centre-halves have been missing all season. Haven't Man U been missing Varane and Lisandro Martinez nearly all season? Right?
Yeah.
They've been missing Casemiro for how long? They've been missing Amrabat was injured for how long? Mason Mount's been injured for how long?
only missed like 2 games. So,
but we could do this about everyone, right? Romero's only missed 2 games injured or 1 game injured, right?
Everyone's had an injury crisis. A lot of these teams,
right? Everyone has.
That's why they've struggled.
Right, but that's down to us, right? John, not to me, it doesn't. I've watched football for 41 years. I've always said Man U, and it's only when I go on here that we get people saying that it refers to.
I don't understand.
This is woke culture that needs to be counted.
And the Munich crash happened like in the 50s or 60s or something like that.
Here in the UK, everybody, including the Man United fans,
I'm not woke.
we call them Man U. We've always said Man U.
Even TV
Who says Manchester United? No one says that. Not in the UK anyway. I don't know abroad, but here we always call it Man U.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not gonna. Yeah. All right, guys. So let me get quickly. Let me get a prediction on. I want each of you to give me your 11 that you think he will start with, not what you will start with, and a scoreline. You know my 11, and I'm going with 3-0 or 3-1 Spurs. No excuses. If we lose, I don't want to hear any nonsense about injuries, suspensions. Ange's first season. This is a must-win game. No excuses for me. Iggy?
Someone said that Foster's contracted to play cup games. Is that right? I don't know if that's correct.
I don't know.
Is that correct? I don't know, guys.
Who wrote that contract?
I don't know. I'm hoping Vicario, obviously, Vicario. For me, we cannot be in a situation where we can even consider dropping Vicario for any game right now, given the form that he's in. So Vicario hopefully gets the nod. I think it'll be the unchanged back four, Emerson or Emma Goat, with Davis and Udogie and Poro. I think in midfield will be Bentancur. I think Skip's going to be given a run out, and I think he'll go with Lo Celso. Kulusevski's back, isn't he? So him on the right. Yeah, or perhaps Kulusevski will go on the left, Brennan Johnson on the right, and Richarlison up front. That's what I think he'll go for. I don't.
Okay.
Brian Hill, I don't think he'll choose him, to be honest with you. I don't think he'll play him.
Yeah. Stel, yours is going to be the most interesting, I think. What do you think Postecoglou is going to do tomorrow?
Yeah, it'll be the exact same starting lineup, except for Brian Hill will play out wide instead of probably Brennan Johnson or Kulu. In the middle, definitely Højbjerg and Skip will start. And at centre-back, it will be Eric Dyer, maybe a surprise youngster instead of Phillips or Donington. With the goalie, I think he will probably start Vicario, but I think there'll be 4 changes to the starting lineup, and it'll be changes that everyone's like, oh, fuck, no, why?
Okay. All right. Perchy, give me your 11.
Starting 11, Fraser 4-star, Pedro Porro, Emerson Royale, Ben Davis, Destiny Udogie. Then he'll go Skip, Bentancur, Lo Celso. Then he'll go Kulusevski, Richarlison, and Brennan Johnson, and we'll win 3-0.
Man, that spine worries me bad.
Oh, yeah. So you think he's going to play Forster?
Yeah, he'll go Fraser
Okay.
4-star.
Oh, we'll come back to that in a second.
I don't think he should, but I think that's what he'll do.
Cool.
Perchy, who was your 3 in the middle?
Skip, Bentancur, and Lo
Celso.
Will?
It's a normal Premier League start. So it's going to be Johnson, Richarlison, Kulusevski up top. Lo Celso, probably Skip and Bentancur. Or Lo Celso, Højbjerg, Bentancur, which I think would probably be better. Have Bentancur play the 8.
100%.
Then Udogie, Davies, Emerson, Poro,
And keeper?
Vicario.
So let me ask then, off the back of that, guys, if he does start Forster and Skip and Højbjerg, I was saying, at the end of the game, can we all not go crazy at Forster, Skip and Højbjerg? Right?
No, I would never take the players. They don't. Yeah,
that's on him, right? If he plays that tomorrow and we lose,
they don't select
are we then allowed?
do they?
Well, but you know what it's like. If you dare critique this man,
listen, if he wins, he's a genius.
I said
If he loses, I'm not going to say the word that he uses. I don't want to say the word that he used today.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Right, but listen, could you imagine the piss take that we're going to get from everyone if we don't come out of that cup game? We don't qualify. We would have had 2 cup exits, no Europe. What the hell are we playing for?
What have Burnley got to lose tomorrow night? What have they got to lose?
That is a good point, Stel. That is a good point. This is a respite
other than the game, yeah. And I think that's how company's going to try and spin it, which is why we cannot. Can I swear? We cannot F about. We cannot F about. We must come away with a qualification in our pockets. That's it. There's no. You start with the strongest team, get that game under 60 minutes, get it in the bag, and then play whoever you want after that. Just do whatever you want, but don't. What you don't want is a situation where you're coming out of the tunnel, ready for kickoff, and the Burnley players look on the left or right, whatever it is side it is they look at, and see that we've got a whole bunch of kids in the team, or not quite the first. Because then you're just giving that team. Actually, do you know what? Let's give this. I'll go by what you guys have been saying. Let's give it a good go. What we got to lose is Burnley. Now I'm going to say, look, I'm saying we as Burnley. From Burnley's point of view, what
Iggy, the
do one-
secret
my-
Burnley
my
fan. I
Burnley's
love this.
coming out.
love this.
What? If you're looking to expect Vicari and you see Foster, you're looking at all these Brian Hill. You start to look around and thinking, hang on a minute here.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah.
Hang on. I'm gonna give this a good crack.
Maybe dare I say it, like the Fulham Cup game, when you're looking around and going,
Mate, I was pooing my pants when I saw that 11, Fulham away. I thought, and that horrible kit. That was the first time we'd ever worn it. I thought, you know what, this has got everything. We're in the proper mud. That was mud.
Will's best mate is here. We'll come to you. Let me come to you in a second, Perchy. But Will's best mate is here. Here he is. Look. Every show I do with Will, Arsenal Dugout has to be in here. I just thought I'd share that with you, Will, if you wanted to retort or.
Oh, this is because it doesn't.
Okay, yeah. So I don't think that it's insignificant draws. I just don't consider it. It's not a goal for me. I don't measure success by how many FA Cups I've won because I haven't won the league in 20 years.
It's the only thing at the moment at Tottenham we can cling on to. We won quite a few of them.
That doesn't matter. I don't cling on
don't
to.
have this chat.
I don't hold the ugly girl's hand just because the cute girl won't talk to me, right? Like I don't do that. That's not my personality.
FA Cup is one of those prestigious trophies.
Don't go there. We had
Don't
international fans don't see it the same way.
we had a 3-hour
Champions
argument
League.
on this Perchy live.
That's what I measure success.
Oh, by the
So
way,
when
the
Arsenal
question,
fans-
you guys haven't answered the question.
So when Arsenal fans go around without having any European trophies and all they've got is the mountain of FA Cups that they've won, I don't respect that because they haven't won a league in 20 years. They're insignificant to me. So.
Wow.
Oh, by the way, the question
Wow.
we got the super chat question. Don't forget that.
I'm coming to that next. But Perchy, you wanted to say something, then we'll come to the super chats.
I want to bring up everyone in the chat. Everyone in the chat right now is going, Perchy, what you on about? Fraser Forces. If he goes and starts in goal, you need to have a word and call out the manager for it. Everyone's sitting there going, no, Ange won't put Forster in goal. Ange won't do it. If he does,
I'm not going to watch him, I told you.
You can't sit there and have a go at me for saying it. I don't want him to be in goal. Do I think he will? Probably. But this is the problem, right? Everyone wants to have a go at me for my opinion. If the manager does it, everyone sits there and says backhand. Well, then backhand that he's picked Fraser Forster. That's all I'm going to say.
Do you know why I like it? I like it when they have a go at you, if your opinion, because it just means just for a few moments in my life of YouTube, it means that I get respite. So everyone, have a pop at Perchy. Feel free to have a pop at Will or Stel or the Burnley fan in the bottom left. It's up to you.
Don't at me when Fraser Forster starts in goal in the team sheet tomorrow. Don't have a go at me. Have a go at the manager.
Right. So I actually thought this was you, Perchy, when I first saw this picture. I thought, hang on.
He's not as good looking as me. Big up to you, mate.
I mean, we could have that debate as well if we want to, but Miena from earlier has said, we'll come to this one. Let's do the others first. We'll come back to this one. Della Spurs has said, I know Højbjerg, Hill and Dyer are not good enough for where we want the team to be, but Ange plays them because they are good enough for Burnley. Della Spurs.
They're not good enough for Burnley.
Do you know what, though? Guys, I'm cool with that. If that's the energy we're going to have then, if they play, if Højbjerg, Hill, Dyer, Forster, Skip play and we go out, the same energy has to be applied for when we go out, right? It can't just be, the same energy. But listen, I hope you're right if they do start Della Spurs.
I think Højbjerg is good enough to play against Burnley. Gill and Dyer definitely aren't. Gill isn't good enough to play against our U23 team. So,
and Dyer, what desire will he have to even be involved? Like, honestly, you're compromising.
Dyer can't even get on social media posts, right? Nobody talked about his lock screen. So,
absolutely. The lock screens. The lock screens, yeah. Who was it that had nothing? I watched it and I was like, there was someone that had nothing on their lock screen. Anyway,
it was, I think it was Vanderven or somebody, but he's got the same one as me. Like it's just the weather.
Listen, Della Spurs, big up. Thank you so much for the super chat. We really do appreciate super chats. Mick Vickers has said, get ready for Fraser Forster. Mick, Perchy wants him to start. That's all that can. No, I know, Perchy. I
Manager
know.
will do it.
I
And then we can all
know.
blame
I
Andy,
know.
we can't blame
Hey,
me.
don't bite. Don't bite. So listen, Mick, if we have to get ready for Fraser Forster, I can only imagine how many goals we will concede, because not through his fault, through the style of football we play.
Fraser
Vicario.
Foster, Emerson, and Davis.
Oh,
If you're a striker, come on now. What would be the first thing in your head?
Højbjerg in front.
What would be your first thing you're thinking? You're rubbing your hands. I'm thinking, I'm gonna have a crack here.
Big up, Mick. Let's hope that we don't see this. And by the way, this is a guy that's just been given a new contract by Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah. So we laugh about it like he's leaving soon. He's got a new contract. Philly, I'm guessing this is you renewing your membership, because I know you've always been a member. So big up to you, Philly. Let's go back to this. Right, guys. I love this question and hate it in equal measures. Big up, Savva, guys. Question: 5th and no cup, or 8th with the FA Cup? Anyone can take us away on this one.
Fifth is not. It's not.
Does he mean
Champions
fourth?
League?
Do you mean fourth no
perhaps?
cup?
Yeah. Because fourth is champion. There's no fifth place for. So fifth is Europa.
I think he might be going. I don't know if any of you have seen this today on DR Sports. Mm-hmm. Abby Summers, right? I'm not having a pop up. I'm just saying I've seen the video. Abby Summers was asked. She was on with Matisse and Don Robbie, I think it was, or somebody, and said she was asked the question by Matisse: would you take 8th place in an FA Cup? She said categorically no, because I don't want 2 8 finishes. But she said she would take 5th and a cup. I think this is where he's going at. Let's say 5th or 4th. Answer whatever way you want, guys.
Because 5th is Europa. So for me personally, guys, if it's 5th, even if it was Champions League, let's just for argument's sake 4th. No, I'm choosing a cup, man. Choosing a cup. I don't give a shit if we're not in Europe again next season. Not at the expense of a cup. I would choose the FA Cup. Just to have that feeling. So
you'd finish 8th again over 5th. Yeah. So to win the FA Cup.
Win the FA Cup, get Tottenham High Road packed again and celebrate the team. I don't know, man. It's been so long, I can't even remember what it feels like anymore.
Yeah. No, you're right. I'm saving Will for last. Perchy. 5th and no cup, or 8th and a cup. I mean, either way gets you Europa League football, right? But what are you going with?
I'm at the stage where I'd take FA Cup and not win another league game for the rest of the season. Like, genuine, and I'm not taking the mick. I genuinely, I'd happily. What we're on. I'm looking at it now. We're on 39 points. That should keep us safe from relegation. I would take losing for the rest of the season and winning the FA Cup. Genuinely, this football club deserves to win trophies. We dismiss it like it's a nothing trophy. It's one of the oldest footballing competitions out there. Respect the FA Cup. I'm going to start that hashtag just to annoy Will.
I feel like that was a dig thrown at Will there. Do you know what I mean? Like, Will, you must respect the FA Cup.
If you're gonna have a guy,
hey,
just
you guys are allowed to appreciate the ugly girl in the corner. That's fine. I got no problem with that. You do you. You do you.
Listen,
leaves the pretty ones for everyone else.
That's right. You leave the pretty girls for me. You guys chat up the ugly chick in the corner.
Yeah, but what happens when the pretty girl always says no to you?
You keep trying. Yeah, man. You get better clothes. You work on your fit. You buy some nice cologne.
Well, what if she's found another man by then?
Oh no! Spend money on PT. Spend money on new clothes.
Go to the gym.
No. The key question: spend. The key question, that something that doesn't happen at Tottenham. Spend. So, what are you going to work on if you're not spending on anything?
Because if you think the FA Cup's the best that we can do, you've lost already.
No.
Well, this season is. Yeah, this season is.
The question is, what would you do? And at the end of the day, man, the reason why we say that, I get where you're coming from, Will. The reason why I say that is because I kind of know where this board is going to go. That's why I would say go there. If the things were differently, then we could be different ambition. then our ambition would be higher. Then of course I'll say, do you know what? But then again, where's the ambition in finishing fourth?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no ambition in
Bingo.
finishing fourth.
So I don't go at the end of the season. Blood.
Right.
Yes,
Does anyone
man.
even want next season's Champions League?
next
It's a
season.
shambles.
I always
Right.
want Champions League because that means you have the opportunity to win
let
it,
me-
and that's the
let
trophy
me-
that I want to win.
Let me
Well,
take you back.
Champions-
Let me
We've
Hey,
got-
hey,
let me take
Go
you
on,
back
Stel.
3 years ago, right? Let me take you back 3 years ago. You and Cody used to do a show together, right, Will? Now, I had an almighty argument with Cody because he was saying, no, top four, because if you look at history, the teams that finished in the top four most likely end up winning trophies anyway. So because of that correlation, top four, plus we need the money. And he gave me every argument to say top four over a cup. And I sat there trying to explain to him, Cody, you've got to always
This
pick
is
a
Tottenham.
trophy, right? You've got to pick a trophy. This is what it's about. Silverware is what glory is. Anyway, there was a big argument, and it went on and on for months and weeks and years. And then Mourinho got us to a cup final, and we lost. Cody was only supporting Spurs for like 4 or 5 years at the time. How he felt on the day we lost the final, literally the week after, he goes, "Do you know what?
I
I'll
get
take
it.
a cup. I'll take a cup over top four." I said, "I'm glad you've come to that place now. You've got to feel the pain of losing finals, man."
I think. Do you know what it
to
is?
really
Though
get it.
we talk about we want this club to be successful. We want it, but then the second a trophy comes around, now I'd rather. I don't want to be a bit part player in a Champions League. I want to win trophies. Do you know what's worse? It's like I see this. It's not a dig at anyone and Will anyone, but I'm just saying I see this all the time nowadays. Champions League's the pinnacle. How? It's the pinnacle if you win it. It's not for anyone else.
If you're Real
It's not for
Madrid.
the rest of the teams in it.
Getting
Well,
banged up
oh,
10-2 in aggregate by Bayern. Wicked.
Was
Getting
that?
banged up 10-2 in aggregate against
But
Bayern.
let's be
If,
fair
you,
with it,
if you're Real Madrid, yeah, it's the pinnacle. You want to be in the Champions League because
You know
you can
what?
win it.
But this is the one thing, and big up Kuva because he makes a good point. Look at Sevilla. Use Sevilla as the goalpost here. Sevilla aren't the biggest team in Spain. What are they? They've won countless Europa Leagues. They've won loads of Copa del Reys. It's only in this country, in England, and the Premier League, which we worry about everything else. Everyone else takes all their
It's
domestic
Spurs.
trophies
It's
seriously.
us.
No, they don't.
Perchy, it's us.
Yeah, they do.
No, they
I
don't.
watch. Look, trust me. Watch La
I
Liga.
can tell you right
They
now,
take the Copa del Rey
Barcelona and
very
Real Madrid
seriously.
fans could give a crap about the Copa del Rey. They're focused on
Really?
the Champions League.
The Real Madrid that win Champions Leagues nearly every season. They win
That's
La
my
Liga.
point.
That's different.
Well, I
But we're
don't
not that
have the
football club.
mentality of a small
But we're not
club
that
like
football
Sevilla
club.
to where that the Copa del Rey is the best thing that could happen to me this season. I
No one said
want
it was the best
Tottenham
thing.
Hotspur to be the team that wins the league 4
But
out
that
of the
doesn't
last
happen.
6 years.
I think
doesn't
that's the
happen.
issue. I
We're not
think that's the
waking up
issue.
and we're not
We
Real
all
Madrid
want-
anymore.
Then we have to
We all
become Real
want to
Madrid.
be.
That's the point.
Yeah, and
Well,
Real Madrid win Copa del Reys. They win.
Because
they win
they're
La
already
Liga.
at that. When you build the team that can win the league 4 years in a row, you're going to win 10 Copa del Reys out of the last 20 years.
But Will,
That's
hold
just
on
a
minute.
matter of simple math.
Guys, hold on, everyone. Hold on. The question was top four or a trophy and finishing eighth, right?
Yeah.
Though between those alternatives, I would always pick trophy. I think most people would.
Yeah.
If the question was Champions League or FA Cup, Champions League every day of the week.
Oh, what, the trophies?
Yeah.
Or the qualification?
Yeah, but
No.
Will's-
Hold on.
Will's-
If you're
Will's-
talking about
Will's-
I'm
trophies.
talking about the trophies.
but
All
Will's-
right,
Will's-
okay.
Will's
That's
answering a different
completely
question.
different.
No,
What
I'm
we were
answering
talking
the
about
question
Champions
on
League
why- hold on,
qualification.
I'm answering the question on why I don't consider the FA Cup to be an achievement. It's because
Why?
my aspirations are higher than that.
But-
It's not to be in the Champions League.
Yeah, but
It's to
hold on.
win
We're
the
not-
Champions League. It's not to get into the top four. It's to win the league. It just so
Okay.
happens that when you win the league and the Champions League, you're both in the top four and in that competition. And guess
Are
what?
we in
You've
a
probably
position
won
to
an
do that
FA
right
Cup
now?
just like Manchester City did
So
last year.
Will, therefore, you dismiss most of our history as a club now.
Yeah.
Because the FA Cup is our most successful competition.
Yeah. And we
I don't dismiss
and
it in the
winning the
fact that
Premier
it's,
League,
I'm
we've
not
never won a
dismissing
Premier
it and
League.
saying,
You
hold on.
are you are dismissing it because you're
I'm
saying
not
you don't value
dismissing
it.
it. Hold on. I'm not dismissing and saying it's not something that we achieved. I'm saying it's not real success
Why?
because
Why
we're
is
not
it-
winning the
Yes.
league.
So you're
Why
dismissing
do-
our history by saying it's not real
It's a
success.
6-game competition that you don't have to qualify for. True or false?
1 minute, Will. You
what's
can't
that
pick or
again?
choose here. 1 minute.
Six
You can't
match.
pick or choose.
Six
Will?
match.
No.
Right?
What's
Six
that?
Will.
leg, 6 matches, right? There's 6 things from the
Will.
3rd round to the final. It's 6 matches, right?
You're right. You're right. You
Okay.
can't say.
Yeah.
You don't have to qualify for it.
Well, you do.
Right? No, you
You've
don't.
got to- okay,
If
no,
you're in
right.
the
You don't have to
football
qualify.
league or you're in
You're
the
right,
Premier
you're
League, you automatically qualify. You
Yeah,
don't even have to
okay.
come in until the 3rd round, right? I mean,
Okay.
that means there was previous rounds before that, right?
Yeah, but
So
you
what
can't
is more
say.
important,
Let-
the
let-
38
let-
games,
I wanna-
being the best team in the top of your nation for 38 games, or winning an FA Cup? I'm
But we
sorry,
agree
it's
with
the
that.
league for me
But we
all
agree
day
with
long.
that.
I don't
But we
care.
agree with that.
Well,
You
that's
change the
point.
question. The question
just
was
changed it.
between top 4.
I'm not
or
talking about
FA
the
Cup.
question. I'm talking about the concept of why you asked
Yeah,
me,
but-
do I dismiss all of our history? Do I go and brag that we won a League Cup 8 years ago or 15 years ago? No, I don't.
We haven't.
I
I
do.
don't bring it up.
Do you know
It's
what?
embarrassing.
You can't
should-
say.
you know what?
You can't say. You can't say the FA Cup, in your opinion, isn't real success
It's not
unless you're
success.
prepared. Unless you're prepared to say that
What's the
half
point
our
of the game?
history.
To win the FA Cup or to win the league?
1
What's
minute.
the point?
1 minute. 1 minute. Then, by that logic, you have to say that half of our success as a club isn't real either.
Well,
you have
half
to
the
say
success
that.
of most clubs isn't real either.
No.
Why?
Spurs is. You
It's
have
the
to say that.
point
Then.
of the league. The point of football is to
See,
win
why won't
the
you-
league.
Say
No,
that.
Cups are
the point of football is
extras.
to win trophies.
They are extras.
Can we? Okay, just listen.
don't
Just
buy
so you know.
players to win the
Hang
FA
on,
Cup,
hang on,
do
hang
you?
on, hang on, Will. Listen, I've just cancelled all my plans for the next 24 hours. We're going for a 24-hour charity stream to discuss the FA Cup versus the league. Look, can I ask a question? I'm joking, of course. That hasn't happened. That isn't happening. Guys, is everyone okay for time? I just want to give everyone a chance to duck out if they want to. If not, I'm happy to go for another 15 if anyone's good.
Yeah, 15 is fine, man.
Okay, let's go. We're going to go until 11:15. UK time. Sorry, 11:15 UK time. I'll ask a question. Just playing devil's advocate. I've been listening while eating my banana. Isn't there a world, Will, where both things can be true? Of course, winning the league is the pinnacle for any football club. But after winning the league, the FA Cup is the next best thing that Tottenham Hotspur can win. Now, before you say the Champions League, I'm trying to bring that degree of reality to it that, yes, we can win it, but the probability of winning it when you've got the Bayern Munichs, the Man Cities, the Barcelonas, the Real Madrids is lower. So the FA Cup brings a degree of success, surely, right? Surely that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, like
A
if
degree
we
of
won it,
success.
okay, here, let me give you an example, right?
Mm.
So if we were to win the League Cup or the FA Cup, we'd all celebrate for a good week. We'd throw some sling at some Arsenal guys. And then
And the rest all
and
summer.
Why would you would celebrate all summer for winning an FA
Yeah.
Cup?
Because we haven't won a trophy since
I think we'd
2008.
celebrate it for 16 years.
I'm sorry, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because I can tell you right now that to me, right, it doesn't mean just because we don't right now. You're right. It's not realistic for us to win the league or the Champions League. I'm well aware of that. That's the point, is that we need to build a squad that is. And
Sure,
Bayern Munich and PSG or Real Madrid or Barcelona, they don't win it because of the name of their club. They win it because their clubs buy the players necessary to win those competitions regularly. That's the point that I want to make. Let's look at Man City. They've went from a nothing club with no history to now being one of the biggest giants and favorites for both of those competitions in the last decade. And that's not because of some, magical history that they had in their club's name. It's because the owners of the club put together a team that is capable of winning all of those competitions. And that's what I want for Tottenham. I don't want us to sit here as fans and just, settle for an FA Cup. If we win it, great.
But Man City,
You're settling. If that's all you are focusing on, if that's the only expectation you have on the board, you're settling.
Man City took the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup seriously, though. They won 5 Carabao Cups in a row.
Yeah, because they had the squad to do it anyway.
Yeah, but they took it serious though, because they see it as success. Otherwise, they just play the kids in every round.
If all they had ever won were FA Cups and EFL Cups, they wouldn't have seen the success. That's not what the ownership wanted. Newcastle United's new owners from Saudi Arabia didn't come in and say we're going to win the League Cup in 5 years.
I agree.
They said we're going to win the league.
I agree, but they didn't dismiss the domestic cup in that process.
I don't mean you're taking the word. What do you mean by dismiss? Do I think that those cups aren't trophies? They're trophies.
No.
I count them as trophies.
Seriously.
You said they're not real success.
Okay, they aren't success.
Why?
They are.
No, they're not. They are. They're not success.
Why did Man
They're
City
an
take
open trophy? Okay,
so why did Man
it's an
City
open
take it
cup.
then? So why did Man City take it seriously then?
Sorry,
it's not. No, it's not.
So am I hearing this right? You're saying
golfers. Tiger Woods does not think of except unless it's a major open like the U.S. Open or the British Open, a major tournament like that. They don't consider the other small open tournaments along the way, which are trophies, to be success. When you were competing here, success is the top. That's all my expectation is to top.
No, that's the pinnacle.
Hang on.
That's the pinnacle.
In 1991, we were the most. We won the most FA Cups in 91.
Right. So I just need to understand, right? Listen, I like this. This is a good debate, and I'm just listening for most of it. But when you look here, Will, when you look at Tottenham's honours page, right? I mean, look, we've won 2 leagues, and you know the last one of those was what 63 years ago now, if my maths is right, 63 years ago.
Yeah.
But what we were always famous for being a cup team, and Perchy's right, up until 1991, we were the most amount of FA Cups. So are you saying then that like this chunk here? I'm sorry, I'm hovering my mouse as though you can see it. This chunk here where it says FA Cups, where there's 8 of them, are we saying that isn't an important part of our history and that should be belittled because they're not Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues?
Great question. Should it be belittled? No, they are trophies that we have won and we have achieved. Okay. Now, take that, what you just said, the statement you just said, and walk up to a Manchester United fan and say that. And what are they going to say to you?
What? Man United
win the league.
Clubs in the, what? I don't get the relevance.
We have 8 FA Cups. We had more FA Cups than you up until 1991. No. And they'll say, how many league titles did you have? That's what they'll ask you. And then they will basically shove your 8 FA Cups into the mud, step on them, crap on them, pee on them, and then you'll have to walk out crying because they have 13 league titles.
What? That's because they've won more than us on FA Cups and Premier Leagues. They've won more on both. They've won more FA Cups than us, and they've won more Premier Leagues than us. You don't get the point. Of course they're going to shove it at us because they've won more on both.
Let me ask, isn't half the issue with all of this that I get it, right? I get it. Will wants us to only aim for the elite. But isn't half the problem that when you look at anybody that's gone to the elite, they've not gone straight to the elite?
Sorry, Mike. My internet went out.
No worries. Like the Man Cities, Liverpool's, these teams, even when they're not winning leagues, they'll pick up the cups because it's still important to be winning trophies. The first trophies that Pep won, the first trophies that Klopp won, they weren't the big ones. They were the little ones because it breeds winning. Isn't there some sort of theory behind that winning more breeds winning and people want to go to places where they win trophies, even if it's not the Champions League? Just asking.
No player from outside of England signs for Tottenham to win the FA Cup.
Doesn't mean it doesn't matter though. Look at the we act like the FA Cup's just a nothing trophy. It's crazy. Sorry, this is mental.
What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
It's a very, very.
What does it mean? You win the FA Cup. You are the best team. Where?
If you take away our FA Cups, we're basically Derby County.
No, if you okay, that's fine. I'm not saying take them away. Listen, it's still if you base success on the number of trophies won, then that's fine. I base success on the quality of trophies, not the quantity.
You're
Could
saying
care
that there's
less
no
about
quality.
League Cups,
So if
FA
that's
Cups,
the
Community
case,
Shields.
it's not-
When Arsenal fans come out and say they've won 48 trophies, they're counting 20-something plus Community Shields.
Will, I'll tell you what I agree with you. If you said to me, would you lose 5 FA Cups if I gave you 1 Champions League, I'd say yes, all day long. However, what I won't do is dismiss FA Cups that we have won as not being success. That I won't do.
Man.
It was success in that cup competition. It wasn't success in the league. It wasn't success amongst the best teams in Europe.
That's what we're
That's
saying.
it.
Though.
It was
No, but it's
success.
still success.
Listen, because you could end up playing a championship team, a non-league team, a second division team, and then play one good team in the final. And you're like, yay, I won a cup.
Yeah.
Great, congratulations, right?
But
You
that's
didn't beat the
beauty of
best
FA
teams in
Cup.
England 38 games straight. You didn't beat
Well, I have a question then. I have another question.
Or you could be like Liverpool
I'll be right
that
back. I
played
got
a
a phone
Spurs
call,
team, or you could be Liverpool that won a Champions League playing a Spurs team that finished 27 points behind them in the league that season.
I mean, look, it's what is that picture, by the way? That is
Arteta.
absolutely Is that Arteta? Oh,
Maybe
wow.
Arteta.
That must stir people. I mean, guys, the FA Cup debate is very, very interesting for me. We all want to win it, right? Like, I feel like if we win the FA Cup this year, this is our most successful season for 30
I find
years,
it
right?
for a club that hasn't won since the millennium. We've won 2 trophies since the millennium, and one trophy since the millennium, right? Yeah, it was 90.
Oh, one. Sorry,
One.
you're right. Sorry, you're right.
The League Cup was 99. So we've won 1 trophy, and then we're sitting there going, I can't have that. That's mental. Sorry, I'll do anything for an FA Cup right now for a club that. Do you know what annoys me? And this is what annoys me, and I see this a lot, and it's more and more day. This active dismissal of the FA Cup, and it's not just the FA Cup; it's just everything in general. In the sense, but this was the excuses we had under Pochettino. These excuses were the reason why we weren't successful under Pochettino and won absolutely diddly squat to get to get to a Champions League final that we absolutely bottled, by the way, and threw away. Like, my point is I get the sentiment. We want to get to the big trophies.
I think that's what he's getting at, though.
But my point is we can't just diminish FA Cups. What isn't that part of the journey to go and get these big trophies?
But you're right. You kind of used it with Pochettino. Was exactly what we was doing. We was aiming only for the league and the Champions League.
And he came out and said, but he came out and dismissed them publicly, and Can
I just say something on that? Like, I always had this argument at the time as well. Lots of people kept saying about, Poch threw these trophies. All he cared about was he didn't. He got to multiple semis and finals, so he did care about them because he got there. If he didn't care about them that much, we would have gone out in the early rounds.
Yeah,
for me, I think it was a typical Spurs coping mechanism of, hey, we didn't win it, but you know what? That wasn't our priority. For what I can't understand, for a club that has won 1 trophy in the last 16 years, and was it 2 trophies in 30 years? I don't know how we can possibly sit here and look at traditional English trophies that are important and say, winning them doesn't really do anything. I think it would be enormous for this football club.
Massive.
I truly believe it would be enormous for us.
Do you know what I think it would be? Do you know what I think it would be? It's bigger than a trophy in the sense of winning a trophy is good. Psychological. We need to start getting a winning mentality at this football club. And it comes from the fans, it comes from the players, it comes from the actual football club. Do you know what? We're taking every single trophy seriously. The League Cup, the FA Cup. If we get into Europe, it doesn't matter if it's the Conference League. Doesn't matter if it's the Europa League. We're taking everything seriously because we want to win. And this is why I use the example of Sevilla. Sevilla don't sit there and talk about being in the Champions League. They'll go, do you know what? Fine, we'll go and be the most successful Europa League winners. Countless Copa del Reys. I just find it seems like it's come out of this era now where the FA Cup used to be one of the biggest trophies in this country. Is now become
that's the issue. I think it's more important, and this is not me. I think it's more if you've grown up with that FA Cup tradition, it's a bit difficult. I'm trying to word this right. I don't think it's as important for our fans overseas. I don't think they see this cup as a value that perhaps we see it as. Maybe it's lost a little bit of over the years because
it's not
massive. Yeah, because you don't. If you were to win the FA Cup and winning the FA Cup guaranteed you a Champions League place, I think maybe that would add a little bit more to it. But I will say this, guys. I will say this. The reason why we choose the FA Cup above finishing 4th or 5th is because my feeling is this: you cannot beat the feeling of waking up on FA Cup final day. FA Cup final day, waking up knowing that you're 90 minutes away from winning a trophy. Come 5 o'clock. It's just no feeling like it. But I also understand what Will's saying. It's like there's also no better feeling of winning the Premier League knowing that you beat 38 teams, or you played 38 games and you came away with it victorious, knowing that you played every single team twice. I get that. I do understand that. But I just think for Spurs, where we're at the moment, we have to say, look, yes, we want to aspire to the challenge for the league and the Champions League one day. But for now, we're nowhere near that. So,
just listen. Sorry, guys. I want to wrap up in just.
You really could do a 24-hour stream on this.
Absolutely. I'm going to wrap up in 2 minutes. I just want to say, sorry, guys. Listen, much respect to you. I'm sorry. What I can't have is, and people will take this in their own way, I can't have a manager that's turned up and been here for 6 months saying that we shouldn't be desperate to win an FA Cup. I'm sorry. We, the fans, who have been here before him and will be here after him, right? That's a fact, right?
Yep.
This whole, I agree with Ange, we shouldn't be desperate to win an FA Cup. I'm sorry. This football club's had no success for 16 years and no FA Cup for 33 years and no league trophy for 63 years. How can a manager turn up and start convincing fans that we shouldn't be desperate to win cups? I've no idea. When people say, get on the Ange train, back it. All right, cool. But I want part of the Ange train to be that he wants to go and win the biggest cup competition in world football. Like, why are we not? Why are we now? Oh, I agree with Ange. It's not important. What? Sorry.
Is he trying to take the pressure off a little bit by saying a statement like that? Because I don't believe for a second he wouldn't want to. I'm not defending. I'm just
agreeing with him. Fans shouldn't be agreeing with it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. Ange said we shouldn't be desperate to win it, so we won't win it.
If he's saying it to keep the pressure off, fine. But no, I don't agree.
Some of these players need a bit of pressure. They've had it too easy. We're giving these players and this football club an easy way out every single time. Doesn't matter if we don't win an FA Cup.
If he had come out and said we want to win this FA Cup, would you then would your expectation be really, really high after that?
I'll go, do you know what? I respect him that he actually wants us to win trophies. I'll go, do you know what? Listen, by him coming out and saying, oh, it doesn't matter, or I want us to go out there full strength and win. It doesn't matter. We could get Man City in the 4th round and get knocked out, right? These things happen.
Well, then I have to say that looking at the team that he selects tomorrow will kind of tell
that's what I mean. That's my point.
If he backs those words that he's just written there, if he backs that and says we should be desperate,
why do we bother entering
that means the team that we can expect tomorrow should be on par with the expectation. Should be desperate to win it.
But Iggy, this is the point. This is the bit I'm sort of trying to get to. For a football club that wins fucking nothing, we do have a real arrogance. Whoa. Sorry, apologies. I'm just
whoa. Mate, don't get me in 2 hours into a show and then
demonetize right. 2 hours. They changed it.
We won an Audi Cup and a Tiger Cup as well.
But my point is
why are those cups worthless then?
Huh? They're
No,
trophies.
come on.
They are relevant.
Because we played the Singapore Sailors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you played Middlesbrough and you won the FA Cup, what's the difference?
We got
Let's not
battered
joke.
by
We get
Middlesbrough.
knocked out to Middlesbrough in FA Cups. Let's not joke about it. Middlesbrough knock us out of FA Cups. Let's not laugh about that.
I don't include Community Shields and Charity
Community
Shields as
Shield
part of this.
that's a pre-season.
I don't
game.
include them at all.
But they include them in major trophies. If you go online, you look at any clubs and major trophies, community shields are all included.
Yeah, that's just clout chasing. That's just
come
clout
on, Will.
chasing,
I feel like this is now getting a tad bit disingenuous.
No, ask an Arsenal fan how many trophies they've won. They'll say 40 plus trophies,
Arsenal
and half of those are community shields.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. We know that.
When we say we've won the amount of trophies we have, that includes community
What I will
shields.
say, for a football club that hasn't won anything for so long now, we have a real arrogance as a fan base to go, FA Cup don't matter. What right do we have? What right do we have? Portsmouth have more success than us in the last 15
The
years.
same right as everybody else.
and we're good.
But why?
Because
What?
you don't have to have a right to want to win the league.
But I don't get what you mean by that. We all want to win the league.
Ask a City fan, what trophy do you want to win this season? What would they say? Are they going to say the FA Cup?
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
it's
City are
laughing.
geared. But City are a serial winning machine.
Yeah, so we need to
Right?
become City. That's the
Yeah,
point.
Yes. We need to become City. Of course we do. But in the meantime, that doesn't mean that the cups you pick up along the way are worthless.
No,
does
it doesn't. I didn't say they're worthless. I said
what's
they're
the
not
word?
success.
Oh, but of course it's success. It's
It's not.
success. But so
Not success for me. Because I don't, like I said, I don't care about quantity of trophies. I care about quality of trophies.
So Spurs can only have success in your eyes if it's a league or a Champions League.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask one last question because I know that Stel really needs to go. I'm going to ask one last question. So does that mean when we glorify teams for winning the treble, why are they glorified for winning a treble if it's only the Champions League and the league that matters? Why is it not called the double?
Because you're getting, it's 2 major trophies and 2 minor trophies, right? That would be the quadruple, right? It's you had the most success, right, that you could possibly have in the toughest competitions, right? That's why it's the 2 big ones or it's the big one or it's the domestic double,
And
right?
okay, so
nobody says, you know, for example, the FA Cup may be the biggest domestic competition in the world, but it's not the biggest cup competition in the world because the Champions League is far bigger.
So for the sake of one being bigger and one not being bigger, it then doesn't deem as successful winning a
No, because
trophy.
it's the difficulty of teams that you're having to face. It's the number of opponents, the length of the tournament, the number of matches, the difficulty. We're talking about difficulty.
What? So you're saying the value of the FA Cup determines on who you play. That doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it does work.
So hear me out. Hear me out. So
by the way, Stel, do you need to drop if this goes on for a few more minutes?
Yeah, let me go. I'm struggling. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I can see that you are. But drop off. We'll end in a minute anyway. But mate, listen, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate that you had a dodgy flight and go and sort out those pants that you need to clean. So thank you for.
Have a good one, lads. Big up everyone in the
Cheers,
chat.
guys. See you, mate. Bye-bye.
The point I want to make here. So I'm going to be hypothetical on this point. So does the quality of an FA Cup, if Arsenal beat Liverpool, then get Man City in the 4th round, then get Tottenham in the round after that, then get Aston Villa in the round after that, and then they go and beat Newcastle in the final for argument's sake, does that mean that FA Cup is better because they play better people? It doesn't work like that.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Then. So say Tottenham, we've won 8 FA Cups, right? And then pick any, make-believe or random team in France and say they've won 15 French Cups, right?
Yeah.
Who's a more successful club?
What? Because the league title will be better in the standard of it. League title will be better.
Not the league title. Their domestic cup. Each country has a domestic cup.
Yeah,
right?
everyone's got
So this team, that team, the imaginary team in France, the hypothetical team in France, has 2 league titles and 10 of their domestic cups. And Tottenham have 2 league titles and 8 domestic cups. 8 FA Cups. Who's the bigger, most successful club? The French club who's won more, or the English club?
Yeah, the French club. If they've won more, they've won more.
Okay, good. That's your first answer. Second answer is the United States has won their equivalent to the Euros 12 times, and England has won it how many times?
I mean, we're not. Yeah, but that.
Okay, so who's the more successful nation, the United States or England?
Oh, United States have won more trophies. They're more successful. Yeah,
okay.
But then it's different because the quality is less. Yeah, so the quality. So
why is the quality less? It's the top trophy that they can win in CONCACAF.
Yeah, but they're more successful because they won it. But they are.
Can I chuck something in here? The FA Cup, right? Look, I'm not saying it's right or wrong what you're saying, Will. I love it as a discussion point. I think the FA Cup, it's the history that goes with it, right? Yeah. It is such a historic competition for this country that winning the FA Cup,
right? But it's for your country. It's not.
Yeah, but that's where Tottenham Hotspur are. But Tottenham Hotspur are in. For lack of your terms, they are in my country, right? They are. Right, yeah. We're not talking about another country's competition. We're talking about the English League has always been synonymous with it's FA Cup time. You've got to go and win the cup. People, League Cup's always been, but FA Cup is, we've won the FA Cup. It's been a successful season.
Here's a perfect point. Why is the FA Cup more valuable than the League Cup? When by the time the Premier League teams enter it, it's the same teams in both competitions. Why is one valued higher than the other?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that one.
Because the FA Cup historically is the longest running cup competition in the world.
Right, but that's just feelings. That's not actual anything tangible.
That's fact.
No, it's feelings. That's fact. The reason why it's more valuable when the exact same teams play in the exact same competition for the exact same number of games. Why is one rated higher than the other? Your feelings. I'm sorry, I'm just not about your feelings.
Every single football team enters the FA Cup. That's why. Every single football team.
Yeah, but not by the time the Premier League teams jump into it.
I think that the League Cup is just basically the League Cup is just the Premier teams, isn't it? Really?
No. It excludes the non-league teams.
Exactly.
Hang on. One of you. Hang on. All three of you are literally.
No. All I'm going to say is this: the reason why I think the FA Cup is traditionally, it's because you have the upsets. You have a team that's not favourite, Wigan, went on to win that cup. So any team potentially in that competition in the FA Cup can go on to win it. Dreams, the Roy of the Rovers story can happen.
Sure.
Not so much these days because the quality of the Premier League is far greater than the small ones. So those stories are becoming less and less.
That's my point, though. But hold on, let me flesh this out real quick. That's my point, right? 50, 60, 70 years ago, I can understand why it had the prestige that it did, right? Why there was the Cinderella story that it had. Unfortunately, that era is gone. It doesn't exist anymore, right?
I get that.
So now I'm talking in 2024, the FA Cup does not have the same luster that it used to have in the 50s and the 60s.
I agree with that.
Because of that fact. So now in 2024, I'm not looking to see that in Tottenham in the 50s and 60s, those trophies were far more difficult and far more valuable. Football in general was far different. Teams that came from small origins could come to big glories and they could do all kinds of things. There could be upsets. The level of players were closer together. There was a higher quality of this, that, and the other thing. I'm talking about now in 2023, 24, where the best players in the world play. There's no difference because when you look at the teams that are in the FA Cup right now in the third round that's about to start or that just started today, it's the exact same teams that participated in the League Cup 3 months ago in the first round.
That's not true. There's still non-league teams that are in this round.
What non-league teams in this round?
I'll give you that one. I'll confirm it. I can't remember exactly, but I'll confirm it.
Let me just say that it looks like we're going on until 11, which is in 4 minutes. Look, the thing for me, no matter what we're saying is important or isn't as important as it was, for me, I think the key thing here needs to be that Tottenham Hotspur Football Club hasn't won trophies, right? Whichever way we want to spin it, all of our rivals, all of the bigger clubs in the league win trophies year in, year out. They win trophies. Why? Why do they all go and win trophies if they're not as important as we're making out here, because players want to win trophies. Clubs want success. Yeah. Sponsors. The sponsors of the football clubs want to see their team lifting trophies. I just don't think that we can say that, you know, like, oh, if we win it, like when you said if we win it, what we celebrate for like a week. I mean, if Spurs win the FA Cup, I'm milking that bad boy.
100%.
I'm milking that bad boy for the whole year. Like, yeah, we're the FA Cup winners. Like Arsenal would, like Liverpool would, like Chelsea would. I get it, right? I want to be Man City. I want to be Man City if we're going to use them as the benchmark. The problem is everyone can't be Man City. And the problem is these owners don't have the appetite to make us Man City. Right? They've got the money to do it. They don't have the appetite to do it. So surely winning the FA Cup, winning a League Cup is a mechanism towards getting there. Right? Players, as much as we say, hang on. As much as we say players don't want to sign for clubs to just win an FA Cup or a League Cup, players want to win, and players know that only one team can win the league every year. So if you can't win the league, players want to know that they've won trophies. Hence why at the end of players' careers, at the bottom, when you see on Sky Sports News, Sky Sports, they'll have Mika Richards in the studio, Roy Keane. When they put Roy Keane's name up, what do they put? 7 league titles, 5 FA Cups, 3 League Cups, 100 right? Because trophies are how we gauge success. Like, isn't I listen, I'm not knocking it. I get what you're saying. I just don't see how Tottenham of all clubs can say that the FA Cup's not important. I feel like for us it's more important than everyone else.
I can't wait for May. You know, I can't wait for May when Spurs win the FA Cup. Because Will says all this now, but I know you, Will, very, very well. And you're as shameless as they come. Because if Spurs win the FA Cup, finish 6th, Arsenal finish 2nd on goal difference, you will be telling every single Arsenal fan Spurs have been more successful than Arsenal because they've won a trophy and they haven't.
No, I wouldn't. I may be shameless, but I'm consistent.
Would. And I would as well, because I don't care. That's how it works for me.
I wouldn't.
You would.
I would.
I know you too well. And
you don't know me well at all because I'm very consistent. I don't change my views regardless of anything.
Listen, we all want to eat caviar and champagne, but every now and again a bacon sandwich tastes good.
Listen, guys, I have been
for people that use that argument against me, I would throw it back in
man's
their
got to
face.
eat.
But first of all, Arsenal aren't finishing 2nd, and we aren't finishing 6th.
I'm using it as a hypothetical.
Let's fight. Let's leave with parting shots at Arsenal. We got to.
Plan.
Right.
Last Christmas, they were top of the league, and by New Year's Eve, they threw it away.
Yeah. Look, guys, let's leave it there. Listen, good debate. I really like that. I enjoyed that. That's very good. Good to have different viewpoints, right? Otherwise, we all sit here and say, oh, that's nice. Yes, that's nice. And then there's no show. So as we said before, thank you. Thank you, everybody in the chat has been really, really patient and enjoyed that. Hopefully enjoyed that chat. Simon Kerry, big up. Has just become a new channel member. So big up to you, Simon. Much appreciated. Much love to you as well. Loves Music came in and said it's 100% confirmed. 5th is it 100% confirmed that 5th is not Champions League? I don't know, but I tell you what, I don't want to get
Italy and Germany have the 5th spot because they've accumulated more points in Europe than the British one.
The only way England can get it is if
we're going to get into it, aren't we?
No, I'm just going to say quick. I think
you've got to answer the question. It's just give a super chat.
No. Go.
An English team has to win the Champions League and an English team has to win the Europa League. I could be wrong, but I think they have to get to the final to win it, basically, to get us.
It's just based on points. Whichever country has the most points.
Germany and Italy have both got that at the moment.
But I think it's over time. I don't think it's just this season.
I think this season.
Yeah.
I think this season.
Anyway, we're not sure. We're not sure is the answer. That's the official answer. We'll see at the end of the season. Listen, I'll be honest. This is the. I can't believe I'm going to start saying else, but I'm not. But this is the first time in a long time I've not actually been excited about qualifying for Champions League because of the format that they've changed the Champions League to. Yeah. I think they've made it completely undesirable. But that's for another show. There'll be another show always.
Big up the Super League.
Always. Big up the Super League. Yeah. By the way, smash. Thank you so much. Loves Music. Really appreciate that. Smash the likes. we're going to end this. Hopefully, we've got 264. Let's get to 275. Please go and subscribe to Perchy in the Dugout. His handle is pinned in the bio of this channel. So is Tottenham Away. Please go and subscribe to them as they're chasing. What you chasing down now, guys? What's your milestone?
I've set a target for deadline day to get to 3K. So, and I'll be doing a big giveaway on deadline day if we can get there. So, and there's loads of stuff coming out.
So let's get Perchy to 3K on in the Dugout. And boys, what's the target? What can we get you to?
8K, I think, is the next small milestone. 10K is the big one. So I think we're like 300 or something.
There's 286 people in it. If all of you, or even if half of you or a third of you go over and subscribe to these two channels, it will do wonders. Please subscribe to me if you haven't already. We're on 12.22222. I wish we're on 12.222. Big up, Iggy, Will, Perchy. Thank you very much, guys. Really love that debate.
Pleasure.
Take care, everyone. And as always, oh no, where's my video? Spurs. As always, come on, you Spurs.
Drusin in.